Chapter 2594. Tang Ao wasn't an insensitive person, but Tang Ao knew that the woman in front of him was very beautiful. Not only was she beautiful, but she was also very lethal. Tang Ao even had the illusion that this woman was no less dangerous than Ingjio. Therefore, Tang Ao didn't dare to be careless when facing Silver Moon. I haven't been in the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce for long, so senior sister naturally hasn't seen me before. Silver Moon didn't make a move, so Tang Ao didn't act rashly. In fact, if this dragged on, it would be very advantageous for Tang Ao. Ingjio and Luo Shi were evenly matched. However, Qi Hong and Huang Qi were no match for Huang Qi, even though Qi Hong had transformed into his half-dragon body. Moreover, Huang Qi hadn't used her trump card yet. Once she summoned Cain, Qi Hong would definitely lose. After Huang Qi defeated Qi Hong, whether she came to help him deal with Silver Moon or help Luo Shi deal with Ingjio, the situation would be advantageous for him. In the world of martial arts, not only did one need powerful strength, but one also needed a calm mind. Because of this, those who acted rashly were usually the ones who died the quickest. Then why don't we get to know each other now? Silver Moon smiled slightly, her eyes like two crescent moons. No matter how one looked at it, Silver Moon was an extremely beautiful woman. A woman like her was usually charming enough, but when she smiled, it would be even more amazing. Even though Tang Ao had seen enough beautiful women, when he saw such a smile, Tang Ao couldn't associate this woman with danger. However, at this moment, Tang Ao's heart suddenly tightened. In just an instant, a huge array appeared under his feet. At the same time, Tang Ao felt as though the space around him was bound. Tang Ao was a grade 4 Immortal Array Master, but Tang Ao couldn't see how Silver Moon made her move. Break! Tang Ao swept the green lotus sword in his hand, trying to break free from the array. Crack! Crack! After Tang Ao swung his sword, the surrounding space shattered inch by inch. Tang Ao knew that this was not because he had reached the level of being able to shatter space with one sword, but because he had already been hit. Sure enough, as the surrounding scenery shattered, Tang Ao found himself in a completely unfamiliar space. An illusory formation? Tang Ao murmured. Tang Ao closed his eyes for a moment, then suddenly opened them again. The sky polar eyes instantly opened. Under the gaze of the sky polar eyes, the surrounding space immediately became distorted. However, no matter how Tang Ao observed, the surrounding space only distorted, unable to see through it at all. Roar! As Tang Ao was observing his surroundings, a deafening roar came from behind him. Tang Ao did not look back. He directly stabbed out with his sword, and a pitch-black demonic beast with blurry facial features was killed by Tang Ao. At this time, Tang Ao also saw such demonic beasts attacking around him. These demonic beasts looked like cheetahs, but their facial features could not be seen at all. Their entire bodies were pitch black. Even the Black Panther, which was pierced by Tang Ao's sword, suddenly exploded into a cloud of black fog. It looked very strange. Tang Ao heaved a sigh of relief. After these strange Black Panthers exploded, they didn't condense and revive again. Otherwise, if Tang Ao couldn't find a way to leave, he would definitely be exhausted to death by these Black Panthers. Chapter 2595. Can I kill these Black Panthers? Tang Ao looked around warily as he thought to himself. However, these Black Panthers did not give Tang Ao any time to think. As they roared, they swarmed toward Tang Ao fearlessly. Although Tang Ao tried his best to dodge, there were just too many Black Panthers around him. No matter how Tang Ao dodged, if Tang Ao did not make a move to kill these Black Panthers, then Tang Ao would also be injured. Up until now, Tang Ao had not been injured because he had used the Vajra incarnation. However, there was still a time limit for Tang Ao to use the Vajra incarnation. Given Tang Ao's current strength, he could only last for 4 hours at most. However, because Tang Ao had just fought with black armor, he had expended a lot of energy, so this time would be halved. In other words, if Tang Ao could not leave this illusion formation space within 2 hours, then Tang Ao would be in danger. Bang! A muffled sound resounded as a black panther with incredible speed bumped into Tang Ao's chest. Under this terrifying impact, the black panther directly smashed itself to death. Tang Ao also staggered and almost fell down. The surrounding black panthers took this opportunity to swarm forward. They instantly surrounded Tang Ao. However, it was also at this moment that a terrifying sword aura suddenly erupted and spread in all directions. Tang Ao looked at these black panthers coldly. Earlier, Tang Ao had only been dodging and had not made a move to kill the black panthers. Now, Tang Ao realized that because there were too many black panthers, he could not avoid them completely if he just kept dodging. The black panther that had ambushed him just now was a good example. Since that was the case, Tang Ao did not hold back anymore. These black panthers would produce black gas after they died, and other black panthers would become stronger after absorbing the black gas. However, Tang Ao still decided to make a move. It was clearly easier to deal with a few powerful black panthers than a large number of them. Swish, swish, swish. The green lotus sword in Tang Ao's hand swept wildly, and the cyan sword chi swept out in all directions. One after another, the black panthers were also killed by Tang Ao as if they were vegetables. After Tang Ao attacked with all his strength, Tang Ao's surroundings were also shrouded in black fog. The black mist was released after the black panthers died. Even with Tang Ao's eyesight, Tang Ao couldn't recognize what it was. However, under the observation of Tang Ao's skypole eyes, Tang Ao discovered that the black fog contained an extremely weak amount of soul power. This soul power was so weak that it was almost undetectable. If not for Tang Ao's skypole eyes, Tang Ao wouldn't have been able to discover the soul power undulations hidden within the black fog. What surprised Tang Ao the most was that these soul power fluctuations were actually the same. It was as if there were countless black panthers around, and they were originally one body. This discovery surprised Tang Ao. With a thought, Tang Ao instantly made a move. The green lotus sword was put away by Tang Ao, and Tang Ao made a seal with both hands. 2 pitch black chains instantly flew out of Tang Ao's hands and instantly bound a black panther. Immediately, Tang Ao stopped fighting with these black panthers and flew directly into the distance, disappearing in an instant. In the outside world, Silvermoon sat cross-legged in the void. In front of Silvermoon, the mystic moon mirror floated in the air. Black fog constantly came out of the mystic moon mirror. Silvermoon was delighted to see this. Guys on the Hidden Dragon list are really not easy to deal with. I wonder how many shadow beasts this Tang Ao can kill and how many king beasts will be born. Chapter 2596. The Moonlight Essence only had one function, and that was to stabilize one's Tao heart. Many people were confused when they heard about stabilizing one's Tao heart. But if you put it another way, then everyone would understand. On the path of martial Tao, after cultivating to a certain level, there would be 3 light cards. They were Astral Reaching Realm to Yin-Yang Realm, Yin-Yang Realm to Celestial Realm, and Celestial Realm to Tao Sovereign Realm. These 3 stages were when a martial artist's Tao foundation would be continuously condensed. If one could condense a perfect Tao foundation in all 3 stages, then one would have the qualifications to break through to Divine King Realm. Divine King was the true ruler of the world. In the true martial realm, no one knew if there were Divine King Realm masters. But everyone was sure that if one could condense a perfect Tao foundation, then there was a high possibility of breaking through to Divine King Realm in the future. Because of this, the Yu race, which could refine the Moonlight Essence, was directly exterminated by experts. Now, in the true martial realm, finding a Yu race martial artist was even more difficult than finding a primordial artifact. Tang Ao didn't know that there was an ancient and mysterious race like the Yu race in the true martial realm. After Tang Ao escaped for a while in the space of the mystic moon mirror, Tang Ao found that this space didn't seem to be an illusory array space, but a special existence like his chaotic 6 light mirror space. Tang Ao also tried to enter the chaotic 6 light mirror space, but Tang Ao helplessly found that he couldn't enter it in this place. Since Tang Ao started cultivating, he had encountered countless life and death crises, but Tang Ao had never encountered a situation where he couldn't enter the chaotic 6 light mirror space. In the past, if Tang Ao wanted to, Tang Ao could completely escape into the chaotic 6 light mirror space. But this time, Tang Ao couldn't even feel the chaotic 6 light mirror space. While Tang Ao was feeling strange, Silver Moon was also looking at the mystic moon mirror in front of her with a face full of disbelief. The mystic moon mirror was the top of the 3 sacred items of the Yu race, an existence that could communicate with the dark light God King. In the past, when someone was sucked into the mystic lunar mirror, Silver Moon would be able to see the situation through the mystic lunar mirror. But this time, Silver Moon realized that she couldn't see the situation in the mystic lunar mirror. After being stunned for a moment, Silver Moon understood that there was only one possibility. Tang Ao was also carrying some kind of treasure on him. Furthermore, the grade of this treasure was clearly not inferior to the mystic moon mirror. This was the only way she could control the mystic moon mirror. Silver Moon's eyes were filled with curiosity. She really wanted to know what treasures Tang Ao had on him. The mystic moon mirror was one of the 3 sacred artifacts of the Yu clan, and it was one of the Khanate divine artifacts. Such a treasure, not to mention the desolate martial realm, even the Langir realm, which was more powerful than the desolate martial realm, could not find one. Silver Moon now understood that Tang Ao was a martial artist from a lower plane. Such a martial artist, Silver Moon simply couldn't believe that he had such a heaven-defying treasure on him. After knowing that Tang Ao had a treasure on him, Silver Moon's eyes were filled with anticipation. Since Tang Ao had a treasure on him, the number of shadow beasts that Tang Ao had killed this time would definitely not be few. After killing 10,000 ordinary shadow beasts, a king-level shadow beast would be born. And after killing 1,000,000 ordinary shadow beasts, an emperor-level shadow beast could be born. Chapter 2597. Unfortunately, although the mystic moon mirror was the sacred item of the Moon Clan, for some reason, the Moon Clan could suck powerful demonic beasts or martial artists into the mirror, but the Moon Clan martial artists couldn't. Therefore, if one wanted to obtain an Emperor-grade shadow beast, they could only continuously suck martial artists into the mirror and kill ordinary shadow beasts. However, the mystic moon mirror was full of danger. Although the weakest shadow beast only had a life and death realm cultivation base, ordinary life and death realm martial artists couldn't beat the weakest shadow beast either. Apart from this, the mirror had another huge drawback. Silver Moon was at the 9th level of the astral reaching realm. Therefore, when she used the mystic moon mirror, she could only suck warriors below the 9th level of the astral reaching realm into it. Moreover, she could only suck one person at a time. Because of this, there wasn't a single Emperor-grade shadow beast in the mirror, and there were only 3 King-grade shadow beasts. Apart from communicating with the gloomy God King, the shadow beasts could also be summoned to fight in the outside world. However, this was also Silver Moon's trump card. Unless it was absolutely necessary, she wouldn't use it. In a valley, Tang Ao stopped. After flying one round in the mirror, Tang Ao discovered that the space inside was even more complete than the Primal Chaos 6 light mirror. After so long, the Primal Chaos 6 light mirror was still barren. However, inside the mirror, mountains, rivers, and lakes were all present. Tang Ao swung his hand, throwing the shadow beast bound by his netherworld chain to the ground. Tang Ao had a feeling that this shadow beast wasn't simple. However, Tang Ao didn't know what kind of secret it had. Right now, Tang Ao wanted to take a closer look and see what was so special about this shadow beast. Although the mystic moon mirror had all the mountains, rivers, and lakes, Tang Ao discovered that there was only one type of demonic beast. On the way here, Tang Ao saw some traces of battle. It was obvious that there were other martial artists trapped in this space before him. However, he didn't know whether those martial artists had ultimately fallen in this space or used some method to leave. As for leaving this place, Tang Ao was completely baffled. This feeling was similar to when Tang Ao used the Primal Chaos Hexlight mirror to trap someone. Without his permission, the other party would definitely not be able to leave. The only difference was that the Primal Chaos 6 light mirror required the other party to not resist at all, or Tang Ao's cultivation to be several large realms higher than the other party in order to bring them into the Primal Chaos 6 light mirror. Of course, once they entered the Primal Chaos hexagram mirror, Tang Ao would be the absolute ruler. However, in the Mystic Moon mirror, Silver Moon did not seem to have that much control over the mirror. Suddenly, Tang Ao frowned. Tang Ao realized that the surroundings were getting darker. The Mystic Moon mirror formed a space of its own. When Tang Ao entered the Primal Chaos hexagram mirror, it was still daytime. But now, the sun was setting. Indeed, Tang Ao had fought with those shadow beasts for a long time, but Tang Ao could clearly feel that the flow of time in the Mystic Moon mirror was different from the flow of time in the desolate martial realm. Especially now that Tang Ao had not been in the Mystic Moon mirror for long. This feeling was especially obvious. Chi! A sound pierced through the air. Tang Ao's figure flashed, and at the same time, he leaped into the air and retreated to the side. A purple lightning struck down, and the place where Tang Ao had just stood was blasted into ruins. And the shadow beast that Tang Ao found was bitten on the neck by a ragged man who looked like a beggar. Chapter 2598. Tang Ao's Sky Extreme pupil instantly opened. Then, Tang Ao saw that this middle-aged man was actually absorbing the black chi inside the shadow beast body. This black chi contained a trace of faintly discernible soul power. Tang Ao had captured the shadow beast precisely to observe what the black chi inside its body was. However, before Tang Ao could observe it, the shadow beast was killed by this beggar-like middle-aged man. Soon, the shadow beast disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. The black chi that formed the shadow beast was actually completely devoured by this middle-aged man. Tang Ao vigilantly looked at the other party. This beggar's cultivation base could be seen to be at the 7th level of astral reaching realm. Tang Ao didn't feel any danger from this middle-aged man, but Tang Ao felt that the other party was not so simple. This kind of person who couldn't sense danger was often the most dangerous existence. However, after killing the shadow beast, the middle-aged man staggered to his feet as if he was drunk. Glancing at Tang Ao with an indifferent expression, the middle-aged man's body flickered with purple lightning, and he instantly disappeared. Purple thunder heavenly escape. This scene caused Tang Ao to cry out in alarm, because what the middle-aged man had just used was one of the top 10 escape arts of true martial realm. Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape. Underworld Emperor had 3 supreme treasures. The first was the Underworld Life Spirit, the second was the Immortal Underworld Flame, and the third was the Wind Thunder Underworld Cloud. The first was the Underworld Life Spirit, and Tang Ao had already perfectly inherited it. At this moment, the Underworld Life Spirit was in Tang Ao's Sea of Soul. However, Tang Ao's strength was too weak, and he couldn't display the might of the Underworld Life Spirit. As for the second Immortal Underworld Flame, he would have to cultivate it himself. Currently, Tang Ao's Underworld Flame had also advanced into a 3rd-grade Immortal Flame. According to Tang Ao's current development, there was still hope for it to advance into the Immortal Underworld Flame. As for the Last Wind Thunder Underworld Cloud, although Tang Ao had obtained it, and it was extremely powerful in lower-grade planes, it didn't have the Wind Thunder Underworld Chi. But after coming to true martial realm, Tang Ao discovered that his Wind Thunder Underworld Cloud lacked Wind Thunder Underworld Chi. Wind Thunder Underworld Chi was the innate material for refining Wind Thunder Underworld Cloud. Wind Thunder Underworld Chi was the innate material for refining Wind Thunder Underworld Cloud. However, Tang Ao didn't have the time to tell Tang Ao. Moreover, in a low-level plane, even a damaged wind, thunder, nether cloud was enough to move unhindered. Therefore, Tang Ao didn't delve into this issue. However, Tang Ao had learned from the inheritance of Pil Sage Qing Yin that the wind and thunder dark cloud was one of the top 10 escaping techniques of the true martial world. The true force world was vast and boundless. There were countless kinds of magical powers and means. However, there were 10 escape techniques that were highly respected in the true martial world. They were known as the top 10 escape techniques of the true martial world. The underworld martial art. And the earth. And the world young underworld emperor had used. The purple thunder heavenly escape was the #1 escape art. Tang Ao didn't expect that he would have the opportunity to see this legendary escape art after being trapped in the mystic moon mirror. The purple thunder heavenly escape art had disappeared in true martial realm for a long time. Tang Ao didn't expect that he would have the opportunity to see this legendary escape art after being trapped in the mystic moon mirror. After seeing this escape art, Tang Ao was both happy and helpless. Since the sloppy middle-aged man had learned the purple thunder heavenly escape art, Tang Ao might be able to exchange it with him. Chapter 2599. At this moment, although Tang Ao knew that there was someone in this space who had mastered the purple thunder sky escape, it was basically impossible for Tang Ao to find that sloppy middle-aged man. Because that sloppy middle-aged man had used the purple thunder sky escape to escape, Tang Ao could not even sense the space ripple. Unable to find the sloppy middle-aged man, Tang Ao turned his attention to the shadow beasts. After that sloppy middle-aged man had devoured a shadow beast, his aura had obviously grown a bit stronger. Tang Ao did not have any thoughts of devouring the shadow beast. However, Tang Ao wanted to see what exactly this shadow beast was. After seeing that sloppy middle-aged man, Tang Ao knew that there should be other warriors in this space besides him. However, there shouldn't be a lot of people. Although there was celestial spiritual energy here, it wasn't very dense. Without celestial crystals, they could only barely ensure that their cultivation wouldn't fall. It seemed impossible to increase their cultivation. Thinking about this, Tang Ao suddenly had an idea. If he only relied on the immortal spirit power here, he would not be able to increase his cultivation. However, after seeing that sloppy middle-aged man devour the shadow beast, Tang Ao knew that besides absorbing immortal spirit power, one could also devour shadow beasts to increase one's cultivation. However, Tang Ao always felt that the shadow beast did not seem to be anything good. After thinking for a while, Tang Ao decided to go out and catch some shadow beasts to study. Tang Ao was currently in a continuous mountain forest. Shadow beasts could be found everywhere in the mysterious moon mirror. At the first place Tang Ao entered, there were only life and death realm level 1 shadow beasts. However, as Tang Ao went deeper, the power of the shadow beasts continued to increase. At this place, the shadow beasts that Tang Ao could run into were basically at astral reaching level 1 and above. However, these kinds of shadow beasts did not pose much of a threat to Tang Ao. On top of a huge ancient tree, Tang Ao looked down at a group of shadow beasts flying past. Tang Ao's eyes were sharp, and his attacks were like lightning. The netherworld chain flew out and instantly bound a shadow beast. The runes of the netherworld chain flickered, and the power of the shadow beast was instantly suppressed. Immediately after, Tang Ao's figure rose and landed beside the shadow beast. After grabbing the shadow beast, Tang Ao quickly jumped into the dense forest and disappeared. The entire process sounded complicated, but it actually happened in an instant. After Tang Ao left, a figure walked out from behind a boulder. This person's face was pale, as if he had been malnourished for a long time and was suffering from a serious illness. However, the aura on his body was very strange. He was extremely close to the group of shadow beasts, but the shadow beast could not sense his aura at all. It wasn't just the shadow beast. Even Tang Ao didn't notice that someone was hiding nearby. Just now, when Tang Ao had come here to ambush the shadow beast, he had used his soul remembrance to carefully scout the surroundings, but hadn't discovered anything. However, when Tang Ao had attacked the shadow beast, Tang Ao had discovered that there seemed to be an extremely obscure aura watching him. Tang Ao wasn't sure if he was being watched by someone, so after his attack succeeded, Tang Ao immediately retreated. After entering the depths of the forest, Tang Ao casually threw the shadow beast to the side. Immediately after, 3 array flags flew out from Tang Ao's hands, forming a picture scroll. Through this picture scroll, Tang Ao saw everything that had just happened. Tang Ao also saw the pale-faced man. This young man seemed to notice that Tang Ao was looking at him and immediately lifted his head. After discovering that Tang Ao had set up an array on the tree, the white-clothed young man waved his sleeve, and the mirror image array that Tang Ao had set up instantly shattered. This array had been hastily set up by Tang Ao, but it was also a 4th-grade immortal array. This white-clothed young man had only waved his sleeve to shatter his own array. Tang Ao immediately understood that those who had entered the mystic moon mirror were not ordinary people. What made Tang Ao slightly relieved was that this white-clothed young man was only at the 6th level of the astral reaching realm. Although his whole body was a bit strange, it wasn't completely impossible to deal with. However, right at this moment, Tang Ao once again discovered that something was wrong. It was the shadow beast that he had caught just now. It had unexpectedly turned into a rock. If it were a normal martial artist, even if they had the cultivation of the astral reaching realm, their scalp would probably go numb. However, this time, Tang Ao could tell that this rock was still the shadow beast from before. It was just that the white-clothed young man seemed to have been waiting there for a long time, ready to make his move on this group of shadow beasts. Moreover, it seemed like he had already succeeded. This shadow beast that he had brought back had been poisoned by a special kind of poison. Chapter 2600. Tang Ao had spent 2 days and 2 nights in the mystic moon mirror, but in the outside world, it had only been a few breaths of time. These were 2 completely different laws of time. If not for Tang Ao having the Fire Tao law, with Tang Ao's current strength, he would not be able to feel the difference in the flow of time in the mystic moon mirror and the desolate martial domain. However, although Tang Ao had the Fire Tao law, the current Tang Ao could not use the Fire Tao law to do anything. If Tang Ao could use the Fire Tao law to burn this space, Tang Ao would be able to leave easily. Tang Ao had been in the mystic moon mirror for 3 days. In these 3 days, Tang Ao had caught many shadow beasts, but he did not see anything. In front of Tang Ao, there was a white pearl floating in the air. This pearl was obtained by Tang Ao after killing hundreds of shadow beasts. This pearl was only the size of a longan and was completely transparent. Although it was not big, it emitted a powerful fluctuation. After looking at the bead with satisfaction, Tang Ao threw a shadow beast into the crafting furnace without hesitation. After the shadow beast was burned by the netherworld flame, it immediately emitted a lot of black mist. However, this black mist was quickly refined by the netherworld flame. Then, Tang Ao immediately used the ice purification technique to cleanse this refined black aura. Then, he would be able to obtain a wisp of white soul power essence. Tang Ao obviously did not know that this white aura, which looked like soul power essence, was the legendary moonlight essence. Tang Ao only knew that the pearl that he had refined contained a very terrifying soul power fluctuation. Tang Ao estimated that the soul power fluctuation of this pearl was not inferior to the soul power in his soul sea. Furthermore, there were countless shadow beasts in the mystic moon mirror space. Although he did not know what this pearl was used for, he did not know what it was for. But as long as Tang Ao was willing, he could make as many of these beads as he wanted. After pondering for a moment, Tang Ao said, "I'll call this pearl the Moonlight Stone for now." After saying that, Tang Ao put away the Moonlight Stone and continued refining the Moonlight Essence to condense the moonlight stone. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed, and Tang Ao had already condensed 7 or 8 moonlight stones. At the same time, Tang Ao also met other warriors. The number of warriors in this space was very small, and most of them were very strange. In any case, up until now, Tang Ao had not met a single normal person in the Mystic Moon Mirror space. Tang Ao could not help but wonder if it was because they could not leave the Mystic Moon Mirror space, so these people had already been driven crazy. As Tang Ao continued to condense the moonlight pearl, a bolt of purple lightning streaked across the sky. It's him! Seeing this bolt of purple lightning, Tang Ao immediately thought of the sloppy middle-aged man that he met on the first day he came here. Tang Ao was very interested in his purple thunder heavenly escape. These few days, Tang Ao had been searching for this fellow. However, the purple thunder heavenly escape was too powerful. Tang Ao had been searching for these few days, but he had not found any clues. Now that he had finally encountered it, Tang Ao naturally would not let it go. With a sweep of his spiritual power, he kept his crafting furnace. Following that, Tang Ao immediately summoned his wind thunder dark cloud to chase. Although Tang Ao's wind thunder dark cloud was broken, its speed was still very shocking. After chasing for a period of time, Tang Ao could faintly see a bolt of purple lightning flying in front of him. Chapter 26:01. All of a sudden, the purple lightning, which was extremely far away from Tang Ao, instantly arrived in front of Tang Ao. Of course, this was not because Tang Ao had caught up to that sloppy middle-aged man, but rather that sloppy middle-aged man had turned back. His speed was so fast that it would make one speechless. Tang Ao only saw a flash of purple lightning in front of him, and a middle-aged man in ragged clothes appeared in front of Tang Ao. "Kid, are you following me? Don't tell me you know me?" The sloppy middle-aged man glanced at Tang Ao and asked excitedly, "Senior, you're wrong. I just happened to be heading in this direction." When Tang Ao first saw this sloppy middle-aged man, Tang Ao thought that he was only a 9th-level astral-reaching realm martial artist. But now, Tang Ao realized that this guy was not a 9th-level astral-reaching realm martial artist at all. This sloppy middle-aged man's entire body was emitting a supreme aura that was compatible with the great Tao of heaven and earth. The degree of clarity of this Tao rhyme was even 3 times stronger than the Hua Chengjiu that Tang Ao had seen before. This guy in front of him was not an astral-reaching realm martial artist, but a peak-level chaotic sky realm martial artist. Tang Ao couldn't figure out what method she had used to have such a frightening martial artist in the space of the Mystic Moon Mirror. Seeing this guy's confused appearance, Tang Ao was a bit scared. If he was not careful, he would be killed by this guy. Back then, Hua Chengjiu's cultivation had been suppressed by the natural rules of the desolate martial realm, and he was only at the 9th level of the yin-yang realm. Even a casual attack from him could not be resisted by Tang Ao. But now, this sloppy middle-aged man's cultivation had not been suppressed in the slightest. As long as he was unhappy, Tang Ao would not even have the chance to escape. In this place, Tang Ao's chaotic 6-light mirror space could not be used at all. As for the various spatial escape talismans, they were even more useless. So you don't know me? Under the messy hair of the sloppy middle-aged man, a pair of tired eyes could be seen. Not to mention chaotic sky realm experts, even astral-reaching realm martial artists, because of the constant nourishment of the immortal spirit power, as long as they were not injured, their complexions would be extremely good. Seeing this kind of tired to the point where his eyes were bloodshot, Tang Ao simply could not believe what this person had been doing in the mysterious moon mirror space. "I've only met you twice. May I know your name?" Tang Ao cupped his fist towards the sloppy middle-aged man. Tang Ao was telling the truth. The first time he met this sloppy middle-aged man, he had suddenly jumped out and devoured the shadow beast that Tang Ao had caught. This was the second time that Tang Ao had encountered him, but this person had been flying all the way, howling all the way, as if he had gone mad. Nonsense, you evil creature. I remember now. My relationship with you isn't shallow. After Tang Ao finished speaking, the sloppy middle-aged man suddenly became angry and said, Pucci. Under his frightening pressure, even with his yuan body, Tang Ao could not bear it. He immediately spurted out a mouthful of blood, and the aura on his body became chaotic. Senior, Tang Ao wanted to say that he had mistaken him for someone else, but when the words reached his mouth, Tang Ao hurriedly changed his words. Senior, what relationship do you have with me? Tang Ao did not dare to disobey his words at this moment. He could only go along with his words and find an opportunity to escape. If Tang Ao had known that this person was a chaotic sky realm expert, no matter how confused Tang Ao was, Tang Ao would not have dared to chase him, let alone exchange for the purple thunder heavenly escape. Chapter 26:02. Follow me. Without waiting for Tang Ao to speak, the sloppy middle-aged man's Taoist aura changed. Immediately, Tang Ao felt the scenery around him change rapidly, and his head buzzed. When Tang Ao opened his eyes, Tang Ao was shocked to find that he was in a cave. Tang Ao was sure that everything had happened in less than a breath's time. However, this place was definitely not within the range of Tang Ao's perception. Senior, Tang Ao wanted to ask what this place was, because when Tang Ao scanned Tang Ao with his psyche, he found that the surrounding shadow beasts were all at the yin-yang realm. Some of the stronger shadow beasts were even infinitely close to the celestial body realm. However, before Tang Ao could finish speaking, the sloppy middle-aged man snorted coldly. He looked very dissatisfied. Greetings, master. Tang Ao immediately understood what the sloppy middle-aged man meant. To be honest, Tang Ao didn't want to lie. Moreover, Tang Ao sympathized with the sloppy middle-aged man. However, at this moment, Tang Ao had no choice but to say it. Tang Ao was really worried that the sloppy middle-aged man would suddenly go crazy and accidentally kill him. Yes, after hearing Tang Ao call him master, the sloppy middle-aged man nodded and asked, How is the Purple Thunder Taoist sect now? The sloppy middle-aged man's tone was calm, as if he was talking about something insignificant. However, Tang Ao's jaw dropped. Tang Ao was no longer the rookie who had just arrived in the true martial realm. Therefore, Tang Ao naturally knew what the Purple Thunder Taoist sect was. The Purple Thunder Taoist sect used to be the first sect of the heavenly martial realm. The current 4 great sects of the heavenly martial realm were formed after the Purple Thunder Taoist sect split up. Even the current realm lord of the heavenly martial realm, the celestial martial lord, was from the Purple Thunder Taoist sect. You are already a sect lord, yet you are still making a fuss. What a scandal! While Tang Ao was shocked, the sloppy middle-aged man suddenly knocked on his head. Although his tone was strict, it couldn't hide his concern for the younger generation. However, Tang Ao was stunned. Could this sloppy middle-aged man's disciple be the sect lord of one of the 4 great sects after the Purple Thunder Taoist sect split up? However, that couldn't be it, because he had asked what was going on. Master, the Purple Thunder Taoist sect is as usual. Tang Ao knew that the Purple Thunder Taoist sect had long been destroyed over the years and had even split into 4. However, Tang Ao really did not want to say this out loud. Haha, you little brat. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. What do you mean by as usual? The sloppy middle-aged man patted Tang Ao's head again and asked with a laugh. But this time, before Tang Ao could speak, the sloppy middle-aged man's expression suddenly changed. Oh no, you have to be wary of your eldest senior brother, Lei Tianwu. This. And this Tang, this for the Ao, the Tian. And Lei Tianwu is his disciple. Lei Tianwu is the current realm lord of the heavenly martial realm, celestial martial lord. If what this person said was true, then Tang Ao already knew who this person was. However, Tang Ao couldn't believe that the person in front of him was the legendary Thunder Emperor, thought of the highest heaven. No one knew who Lei Tianwu's master was, but Tang Ao had heard of the founder of the Purple Thunder Taoist sect, a half-step divine king, the Thunder Emperor thought of the highest heaven. Chapter 26:03. Master, what's your cultivation level? Tang Ao was worried that this question would anger thinking Jiuxiao, but he still couldn't help but ask. Tang Ao also felt that the person in front of him was thinking Jiuxiao. However, Tang Ao couldn't imagine how a half-god could be trapped in this place. Was there really a divine king expert who attacked him? Thinking Jiuxiao laughed wildly when he heard Tang Ao's question. Lei Tianwu, those 5 bastards, unexpectedly joined hands to attack me when I was trying to break through to the divine king realm. I've had 7 disciples in my life, but only you and your 6th apprentice brother didn't disappoint me. I passed on the position of lord to you. Although your 6th apprentice brother had some complaints, he didn't say anything. Hearing this, Tang Ao had a rough idea of what had happened. Now, the lords of the realm of heaven martial arts, 4 great factions, and the realm lord of the realm of heaven martial arts were all disciples of thinking Jiuxiao. At the critical moment, when thinking Jiuxiao was trying to break through to the divine king realm, these guys had joined hands to attack him. However, Tang Ao quickly thought of 2 people, thinking Jiuxiao's youngest apprentice and his 6th apprentice. Tang Ao didn't know much about the realm of heaven martial arts, but Tang Ao knew there were 4 great factions in the realm of heaven martial arts, and he knew the realm lord of the realm of heaven martial arts, Lei Tianwu. However, thinking Jiuxiao's 6th apprentice and youngest apprentice were from the same generation as Lei Tianwu, so they shouldn't be unknown. Master, what about my 6th apprentice brother? Tang Ao asked after thinking for a while. Tang Ao had some guesses about his youngest apprentice, since his youngest apprentice was the lord of the Purple Thunder Taoist sect, and now the Purple Thunder Taoist sect was divided into 4 factions. It was obvious that his youngest apprentice was dead. Your 6th senior brother was protecting me. Naturally, he fell into the hands of those beasts, Nian Jiuxiao said with a gloomy expression. However, Nian Jiuxiao quickly slapped himself on the head and looked at Tang Ao in ecstasy. You've been unwilling to cultivate the infinite lightning art. Have you cultivated it? Tang Ao didn't know what the limitless thunder technique was, but if it could be mentioned by Nian Jiuxiao in this situation, it was obviously not something simple. Tang Ao really wanted to say that he cultivated it, but Tang Ao helplessly discovered that other than the Thunderclap Slash and the 1000 Thunderclap imprint, he didn't know any lightning-type magic arts. If he said that he had learned it, he wouldn't be able to cover up his lie. I haven't started cultivating yet. Tang Ao looked at Remembrance of the 9 Heavens respectfully. At the same time, he was prepared to slip away. That's good. That's good. To Tang Ao's surprise, 9 Heavens let out a long sigh of relief when he said he had not learned. Next, 9 Heavens grabbed Tang Ao proudly. With a flash of lightning, Tang Ao found himself in a wasteland thousands of miles away. There were many terrifying shadow beasts in this wasteland. At this moment, Tang Ao saw many powerful shadow beasts that were comparable to Hun Tian realm cultivators. However, sensing 9 Heavens' terrifying aura, these shadow beasts didn't dare to approach him. Watch carefully. 9 Heavens patted Tang Ao's shoulder. Immediately, lightning gathered in his hand, and a ball of lightning appeared in his palm. Chapter 26:04. Tang Ao roughly estimated that Remembrance's attack had killed at least 10 turbid heaven stage shadow beasts. As for the surrounding shadow beasts of varying strength, about 100,000 of them had also been instantly turned into ashes. A single attack from a turbid heaven stage powerhouse was actually this terrifying. This feels great. Come with me again. Before Tang Ao could sigh, Remembrance grabbed Tang Ao again. When the two reappeared, Tang Ao and Remembrance had arrived at another place filled with shadow beasts. Tang Ao thought to himself, could it be that what Remembrance had just used was the infinite thunder technique? Seeing the might of the infinite thunder technique, Remembrance had no reason not to let him learn it. Don't get distracted. Watch this move of mine. Remembrance said as lightning gathered in his hand again. This time, lightning gathered in Remembrance's hand again. This move, which Tang Ao had just seen, was ferocious, overbearing, and incomparably terrifying. If it were a battle against a human cultivator, as long as it used this move, at least 10 ordinary chaotic heaven stage powerhouses would be killed by 9 Heaven's Remembrance. However, Tang Ao soon discovered that something was wrong, because at this moment Remembrance had also raised his left hand. In his left hand, a ball of lightning was also condensing. However, the lightning balls in his left and right hands were clearly different. The one in his right hand was ferocious and overbearing, like a wild beast or a violent ball of fire. However, the lightning ball in Remembrance's left hand was very different. The aura of this lightning ball was very concealed. Even a trace of its aura that leaked out made people feel as if they were in a 10,000-year-old glacier. This is the Nine-Yang Thunder. I don't need to explain it to you. This is the Nine-Yin Thunder. All this time, we only know of the Nine-Yang Thunder, but not the Nine-Yin Thunder. It turns out that cultivating the heavenly thunder sacred body doesn't require the tempering of the Nine-Yang Thunder, but the tempering of the 9 revolutions demonic thunder. Look carefully. After saying that, Remembrance put his hands together. The 2 lightning balls had already fused together in an unimaginable way, emitting a destructive aura. Tang Ao had no doubt that he would immediately be turned into ashes if he came into contact with even a little bit of Remembrance's move. Just looking at such a technique was already very frightening. 9 revolutions demonic thunder. 9 Heaven's Remembrance abruptly pushed out his palm, and the lightning in his hand suddenly disappeared. Then, it turned into a lightning ring with Tang Ao and 9 Heaven's Remembrance as the center, spreading out in all directions. Everywhere it passed, whether it was the hills or the shadow beasts, they were all turned to dust. Under Tang Ao's soul remembrance, the surrounding area had already been flattened by remembrance of the 9th heaven. The limitless thunder technique strengthens the Nine-Yang Thunder to the extreme. Therefore, after cultivating the limitless thunder technique, one's body will have a lightning aura of extreme yang, making it impossible for one to cultivate the Nine-Yin Thunder. Right now, you don't cultivate the limitless lightning technique, which is a huge advantage. The cultivation method is all in the Jade Slip. Cultivate it yourself. If there's anything you don't understand, ask me. I need to rest for a while. With that, 9 Heaven's Remembrance tossed a Jade Slip to Tang Ao. After Tang Ao caught the Jade Slip, 9 Heaven's Remembrance brought Tang Ao back to 9 Heaven's previous cave in a flash. After arriving at the cave, 9 Heaven's Remembrance said sincerely, "Little rascal, you've always liked to be lazy. This 9 revolutions demonic thunder isn't easy to cultivate. Don't be lazy anymore." After saying that, 9 Heaven's Remembrance immediately fell asleep. Chapter 2605. After obtaining the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape, although Tang Ao knew that it was not right to do so, Tang Ao still immediately started learning it. Not for anything else, but to save his life from remembrance of the 9 heavens. Now that Tang Ao was unable to escape into the primal chaos hexagram mirror, the Wind Thunder Dark Cloud would definitely not be able to outrun remembrance. As long as he could use the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape, he would be able to preserve his life when remembrance went berserk. Without any hesitation, after obtaining the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape, Tang Ao immediately started cultivating seriously. Because of the 9 dragons' Emperor's Jade body, Tang Ao already had some understanding after just one look. Furthermore, this Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape was the one that Remembering 9 Heavens cultivated. It contained Remembering 9 Heavens insights, a complete and detailed secret manual, as well as the insights he gained from cultivating chant of the 9 heavens. 2 hours later, Tang Ao put away the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape cultivation technique, Jade Strip. At this moment, Tang Ao already understood that the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape step was composed of 2 parts. Part of it was the lightning shadow phantom body, and the other part was the purple thunder heavenly escape. Every time Remembrance 9 Heavens brought Tang Ao along, he would use the purple thunder heavenly escape. As for the thunder shadow phantom body, it was a movement technique used in battle. Tang Ao had never seen Remembrance use it before. Although Tang Ao wanted to cultivate the purple thunder heavenly escape, Tang Ao was also very interested in the lightning shadow phantom body. Without hesitation, Tang Ao sat cross-legged on the ground and began to refine the thunder seal in his body. The lightning seal was a seal that was condensed from lightning attribute immortal spiritual energy or lightning attribute Tao aura. Whether it was the purple lightning heavenly escape technique or the lightning shadow phantom body, it required the heavenly lightning seal to instantly release the terrifying lightning energy. Martial artists who possessed the 9 Dragons Emperor's Jade body could cultivate all types of sorcery, including lightning-type sorcery. Tang Ao closed his eyes and started to circulate the celestial spiritual energy in his body to refine the lightning attribute lightning seal. According to the cultivation method on the Jade slip, 3 hours passed in a row, and Tang Ao was barely able to condense a thunderbolt seal. When Tang Ao sensed that 30% of his celestial origin energy had been consumed, he was speechless. However, Tang Ao still gritted his teeth and continued to condense 2 more thunder seals. Executing the purple thunder heavenly escape required at least 10 thunder seals. In other words, even though Tang Ao had obtained the purple thunder heavenly escape manual and successfully condensed the thunder seals, Tang Ao was still unable to execute the purple thunder heavenly escape. Although Tang Ao was unable to execute the purple thunder heavenly escape, what made Tang Ao happy was that he could now execute the thunder shadow phantom body. With a thought, a thunder seal suddenly bloomed inside Tang Ao's body. Tang Ao's figure flashed and instantly appeared outside the cave. He was surrounded by a group of Yin-Yang realm shadow beasts. When Tang Ao appeared, the group of shadow beasts instantly pounced on Tang Ao. Tang Ao was scared out of his wits. These shadow beasts weren't like the life and death realm shadow beasts that Tang Ao had encountered previously. Instead, they were Yin-Yang realm shadow beasts. Tang Ao felt his scalp go numb. At this moment, Tang Ao couldn't afford to hesitate. The thunder seal in his body was released again, and the thunder shadow phantom body was executed. In an instant, Tang Ao immediately appeared in another direction. However, it was completely different from what Tang Ao had imagined. After executing the thunder shadow phantom body, Tang Ao still didn't return to the cave. Instead, he went to another group of shadow beasts. Chapter 2606. Tang Ao didn't hesitate at all. This time, he desperately rushed into the cave abode. Tang Ao, who had used the thunder shadow phantom body, instantly disappeared. When he reappeared, Tang Ao had already slammed into the mountain wall. With Tang Ao's Yuan physique, this kind of collision was insignificant to Tang Ao. What Tang Ao cared about was where he was. After scanning with his remembrance and discovering that he was already in the cave abode, Tang Ao let out a sigh of relief. The thunder shadow phantom body was indeed powerful. It came and went like a ghost and didn't cause any spatial ripples. However, this technique was too frightening. This time, Tang Ao planned to study it himself. Before he completely grasped the thunder shadow phantom body, he definitely wouldn't use it easily. There was also one thing that made Tang Ao feel a little regretful. With his current cultivation, he could only store a maximum of 3 thunder seals in his body. In other words, although he could use the thunder shadow phantom body, he could only use it 3 times. Although he could only use it 3 times, Tang Ao was still very satisfied. If Tang Ao had already grasped the thunder shadow phantom body, then when Silver Moon used the array to trap him, Tang Ao only needed to use the thunder shadow phantom body to instantly escape. Tang Ao had been the Mystic Moon Mirror for a long time. However, in the outside world, only a just 6 time had passed. Chi Hong was currently covered in wounds as he was blasted to the side of a pile of rubble. Luo Shi and Ying Jiao were still fighting intensely. Under Huang Qir's control, the demonic beasts and demonic creatures that she had summoned immediately surrounded Silver Moon in a grandiose manner. "Where is Senior Tang Ao? Where did you put Senior Tang Ao?" Huang Qir's large eyes were filled with anger as she stared at Silver Moon. Just now, when Silver Moon and Tang Ao were fighting, Huang Qir had seen a portion of it. However, Huang Qir didn't know that Tang Ao had been sucked into the mystic moon mirror by Silver Moon. Seeing that Silver Moon wasn't speaking, the two ancient twin spirit light balls instantly shot out. However, faced with the ancient era's blue spirit and ancient era's green spirit's light balls, Silver Moon had no intention of dodging at all. With a wave of Silver Moon's hand, two mirrors flew out and devoured the sphere of light that the primordial spirit duo shot out. Without waiting for Huang Qir to continue, an array formation similar to the one Tang Ao had encountered previously appeared beneath her feet. "Since you want to see Tang Ao so badly, I'll send you to see him." Silver Moon smiled and waved her hand. The mystic moon mirror flew out and was about to suck Huang Qir into it. But at this moment, a huge foot descended from the sky and directly crushed the Silver Moon's array formation. This enormous figure was Huang Qir's dragon turtle. After the formation was destroyed by the dragon turtle stomp, Silver Moon immediately retreated. With a wave of her sleeves, a pair of exquisite silver-white swords immediately appeared in her hands. Just as Silver Moon was about to act, Ying Jiao's voice came from afar. "Let's go." Silver Moon turned around and saw that one of Ying Jiao's arms had been cut off by Luo Shi. However, Luo Shi did not have it easy either. His body was covered in blood, and it was obvious that he was badly injured. After hesitating for a moment, Silver Moon waved her sleeves and immediately chased after Ying Jiao with He Jia and Chi Hong. Luo Shi looked around and did not see Tang Ao. He thought that Tang Ao must have been captured by Silver Moon. "Where do you think you're going?" Luo Shi immediately swung his heavenly fault axe without any mercy. If this axe hit, Silver Moon would immediately be split in half by Luo Shi. However, before Luo Shi's heavenly fault axe could reach Silver Moon, the mystic moon mirror instantly appeared. A white light shot out of the mystic moon mirror and collided with Luo Shi's heavenly fault axe. Even though Luo Shi was at Yin-Yang Realm Stage 3, he was caught off guard and was still hit by the powerful light blade. By the time Luo Shi stabilized himself, Silver Moon had already escaped. "Chase after her." Luo Shi called out to Huang Qir and immediately flew over. If Ying Jiao's men had not captured Tang Ao, Luo Shi would not have chased after him, even if he wanted to kill him. Luo Shi was not weak, but Ying Jiao was not easy to deal with either. The two of them had fought for so long, but Luo Shi had barely found an opening. Even though he had found an opening, he had not been able to kill Ying Jiao immediately. Instead, he had paid the price of being hit by Ying Jiao's palm and had lost one of Ying Jiao's arms. Tang Ao had no idea what was going on in the outside world. It had been a month since Tang Ao had entered the mystic moon mirror. Tang Ao realized that Nian Jiaoxiao had been sleeping most of the time. Every time he woke up, he would hunt some shadow beasts. From Nian Jiaoxiao, Tang Ao also knew what the wandering soul psyche in the shadow beast bodies was. Tang Ao would never have imagined that the black shadow beast bodies contained the legendary moonlight essence. The value of the moonlight stone that he had refined from the moonlight essence was immeasurable. At the same time, Tang Ao also knew that the moonlight essence could not only stabilize a warrior's Tao foundation, but also restore a warrior's nomological Taoist runes. When Nian Jiaoxiao had woken up a couple of days ago, he had also given the 9-twist demon thunder cultivation spell to Tang Ao. However, whether it was the Yang 9-twist thunder or the Yin 9-twist thunder, Tang Ao could not train them at the moment. Even for the simplest Yang 9-twist thunder, Tang Ao would need at least the astral-reaching realm level 6 immortal spirit power to train it. As for now, there was no need to even think about it. However, The real 9-twist demon thunder was the combination of the Yang 9-twist thunder and the Yin 9-twist thunder, which was extremely horrifying. Chapter 26:07. Outside the mystic moon mirror, only a few hours had passed. However, in the mystic moon mirror, more than half a month had passed in the blink of an eye. In the beginning, Tang Ao could feel that the flow of time in the mystic moon mirror was different from the outside due to the law of fire. However, as time passed, Tang Ao gradually adapted to the flow of time in the mystic moon mirror. Therefore, Tang Ao no longer knew how much time had passed outside. Phew! Outside the cave abode, Tang Ao suddenly opened his eyes and revealed a look of joy. After this period of cultivation, Tang Ao had already mastered the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape and Thunder Shadow Phantom Body. However, due to his lack of strength, Tang Ao was still unable to use the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape. However, he was already very familiar with the Thunder Shadow Phantom Body. With a thought, the Thunder Seal in his body was instantly released. Tang Ao's figure instantly appeared in the group of shadow beasts. However, before the shadow beasts could react, Tang Ao's figure flashed again and appeared elsewhere. After punching the head of a Yin-Yang Realm Stage 9 shadow beast, this shadow beast let out an angry roar. However, Tang Ao had already returned to the cave abode. Tang Ao was very pleased with himself as he looked at the group of shadow beasts roaring outside. He felt very comfortable in his heart. Previously, when Tang Ao saw these shadow beasts, he trembled with fear. However, now, these shadow beasts were no longer a threat to Tang Ao. Tang Ao sighed inwardly. The Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape was really amazing. Just by relying on the Thunder Shadow Phantom Body, Tang Ao was confident that he could dodge 4 attacks from an Yin-Yang Realm expert. This was because Tang Ao could already condense 4 Thunder Seals in his body. At this moment, Tang Ao was looking forward to the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape. If he could learn the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape, then even if he could not beat his opponent in the future, he could still use the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape to escape. Moreover, when he used the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape, there would be no spatial fluctuations. Unless Tang Ao did not have the opportunity to use the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape, Tang Ao's life would have an additional guarantee. While cultivating the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape, Tang Ao had also taken a look at Remembrance of the 9 Heavens. Under the probing of Tang Ao's soul remembrance of the 9 Heavens was currently very weak. The Taoist rhyme within its body was extremely chaotic and unstable. Most of the time, the Tao inside his body would disappear completely. Under these circumstances, any astral-reaching realm warrior would be able to kill him easily. Due to the complicated situation in his body, 9 Heavens Remembrance could only choose to sleep to recover. Ever since he handed the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape to Tang Ao, 9 Heavens had been sleeping. Every now and then, he would wake up to take a look before going back to sleep. Tang Ao shook his head. Tang Ao didn't know how to deal with this situation. Although 9 Heavens Remembrance had mistaken Tang Ao for someone else, Tang Ao had already regarded 9 Heavens Remembrance as his master. Tang Ao really wanted to help 9 Heavens, but Tang Ao had no idea where to start. The rules of nature, Taoist rhyme, and Qi were all areas that Tang Ao had never touched before. Although there were introductions of the corresponding pellets in Pill St. Green Rock's pellet Refining Jade Scroll, with Tang Ao's current strength, Tang Ao would not be able to refine these pellets. After letting out a sigh, Tang Ao continued to condense the Thunder Seal. Normally speaking, the power of thunder was good at attacking, but Tang Ao had cultivated the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape to escape. It seemed a bit ironic. Chapter 26:08. As Tang Ao was quietly condensing the Thunder Seal, the sleeping Remembrance suddenly let out a roar. Immediately, Tang Ao saw a bolt of 9 yang lightning flying toward him from thought of the 9 Heavens hand. Tang Ao had no time to think. He He used the Thunder Shadow Phantom Body 3 times in a row to escape the range of the 9-yang lightning. Rumble, boom, boom. A deafening sound rang out. Immediately, a skylight appeared in the cave abode, and a huge hole appeared in front of Tang Ao. The huge rock that Tang Ao had been sitting on and the wall behind Tang Ao had all disappeared. Through this huge hole, Tang Ao could see that the previously densely packed shadow beast had been cleared out, leaving a path for them to pass through. Although the 9-yang lightning had dissipated, there were still countless flashes of lightning in the passage. Occasionally, a shadow beast would approach and immediately turn into ashes. Tang Ao was incomparably shocked in his heart. When he came back to his senses, Tang Ao discovered that there was a layer of cold sweat on his forehead. Tang Ao thought to himself, if he hadn't learned the Thunder Shadow Phantom Body a few days ago, he would have been turned into ashes by Remembrance's casual attack. Tang Ao still had a lingering fear at the thought. Tang Ao knew that Remembrance hadn't done it on purpose. After using the 9-yang lightning, Remembrance was still unconscious. But this was too terrifying. As Tang Ao stared at Remembrance, Remembrance's eyes suddenly opened. Immediately, Tang Ao saw Remembrance sit up and look at him. Mufeng, my disciple, I know everything. Ha. Remembrance was stunned for a moment before he laughed heartily. Tang Ao knew that Remembrance wasn't in his right mind, so he had to be careful. Chu Mufeng. Very quickly, Tang Ao thought of another name, the White Blade Master Chu Mufeng. Chu Mufeng was also a top-notch expert of the heavenly martial arts realm, and he was also an expert of the sword doctrine. However, Chu Mufeng had disappeared a long time ago. Tang Ao could look up this information through his identity badge in the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce. The identity token of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins was a very good treasure with many functions. One of his abilities was to look up some basic information about the various martial realms in the true martial domain. Tang Ao didn't expect Chu Mufeng to be Remembrance's disciple. Now, Remembrance also thought of himself as Chu Mufeng. What does Master know? Tang Ao asked respectfully. So the 9 Revolutions demonic lightning has another transformation other than the 9-yang lightning. It's precisely because I've been unable to comprehend this transformation that I've never been able to comprehend the true 9 Revolutions demonic thunder. After Remembrance woke up this time, he had completely forgotten about the 9-yin thunder. As he spoke, he kept hitting his head with a pained expression on his face. Master, is it like this? Tang Ao had seen Remembrance use the 9-yin thunder once before, so Tang Ao knew that the 9-yang thunder was the most masculine and masculine thunderbolt power, which contained an endless holy aura of light. As for the 9-yin thunder, it was a fusion of the Dark Doctrine Lord, which corresponded to light. Tang Ao couldn't use the Dark Doctrine Law, but because he had been in contact with the Dark Doctrine Lord, Tang Ao could imitate a bit of the 9-yin thunder's aura. Chapter 2609. But in fact, although Tang Ao could easily form the thunder, Tang Ao had to spend a lot of effort to barely integrate a tiny bit of the Dark Tao Law into it. After that, the thunder in Tang Ao's hand changed immediately. It was no longer as pure yang as before. Instead, it had a cold and evil feeling to it. Not bad, not bad. 9 Heavens grabbed Tang Ao's wrist excitedly, his eyes wide open as he looked at the thunder in Tang Ao's hand. After a while, 9 Heavens suddenly said, I understand now. Shoo, shoo, shoo. After he finished speaking, an extremely pure 9-yin thunder appeared in his hand. But this time, after condensing the 9-yin thunder in his right hand, the 9-yin thunder immediately changed again. Strands of 9-yang thunder's aura started to intertwine with the 9-yin thunder. After the 9-yin thunder and 9-yang thunder combined, they turned into 2 thunder dragons that circled around 9 Heavens' hand. The surrounding space could not handle this horrifying power, and cracks started to appear. Seeing this, Tang Ao was both shocked and overjoyed. Since the space of the mystic moon mirror could not handle 9 Heavens' spell, then Tang Ao and 9 Heavens could definitely break out of the mirror and get out. Shortly after, 9 Heavens' remembrance's expression changed. Tang Ao also realized that the aura on 9 Heavens' body had started to become chaotic again, and the 2 thunder dragons in 9 Heavens' hand were also slowly disappearing. The surrounding space had also returned to peace. Tang Ao felt a bit regretful, but he still checked on 9 Heavens' situation. Right then, in Tang Ao's heart, he had already regarded 9 Heavens as his true teacher. "Teacher, how are you?" "I'm fine. I had just reconstructed the heavenly thunder holy body, so my Tao rhythm is a bit chaotic." "Kid, what did you call me?" A hint of surprise flashed through 9 Heavens' eyes. Then he looked at Tang Ao strangely and asked, "Kid, you are only at astral reaching realm level 4. How did you get here? You should know that the weakest shadow beast around here is at Yin-Yang realm level 1. Tang Ao was taken aback, but when he saw 9 Heavens' remembrance's clear eyes, he immediately guessed that although 9 Heavens' remembrance seemed to be crazy, there were times when he was completely sober. Immediately, Tang Ao knelt down on one knee and performed the ceremony of acknowledging a master. Then, Tang Ao told 9 Heavens everything that he had discovered before without missing a single word, including how the two of them were in the mystic moon mirror space and how he entered the mystic moon mirror. Tang Ao told remembering 9 firmaments everything. "Do you know who I am?" 9 Heavens asked calmly. There was no expression on 9 Heavens' face. "Senior, you're the Thunder Emperor's perception of the 9 Heavens. Junior is indebted to Senior for teaching Junior the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape when Senior was muddle-headed. Junior will take Senior as his master," Tang Ao said in a tone that was neither servile nor overbearing. "I have taught you the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape. You don't have to take me as your master. But I almost killed you when I was unconscious, so I am sorry. So, I will take you as my disciple." 9 Heavens stroked his beard and said with a deep look in his eyes, "There are 7 top disciples under the teacher's tutelage. Even if I become your disciple, I will be the 8th disciple," Tang Ao said with a normal expression. Chapter 26:10. However, Tang Ao was not afraid at all. He said, "Master's eldest disciple, Lei Tianwu, is already a Sky Martial Path Master, the Realm Lord of the Realm of Heaven Martial Arts. As for the other disciples, I don't know their rankings, but I know who they are. Brother Duan Yumming of the Heavenly Thunder Palace, Brother Lu Yuesheng of the Thousand Thunder Cliff, Brother Sun Ryuan of the Thunder Hall, and Monk Songyang of the Great Thunder Temple. The last 2 are Brother Nien Yankuan of the Golden Thunder Star Monarch, and Chu Mufeng of the White Blade Master." At first, Tang Ao did not know who 9 Heaven's 6th disciple was, but when he thought of his surname and cultivation method, Tang Ao immediately thought of Nien Yankuan of the Golden Thunder Star Monarch. "Ha, not bad, not bad." 9 Heavens' remembrance patted Tang Ao's shoulder and said, "If you accept me as your master, the 5 people before you will be your mortal enemies. Do you dare to accept me as your master?" 9 Heavens' remembrance's eyes narrowed as he stared at Tang Ao as if he wanted to see through him. "This disciple has nothing to fear. When this disciple is accomplished, I will definitely clean up the sect." Tang Ao's expression was normal as he said in a tone that was neither servile nor overbearing. In fact, Tang Ao had been mortal enemies with Origin Magnetic Pathmaster even before he had become a Sky Martial Pathmaster. Since he had already offended a Tao Master, it did not matter if he offended another one. "Good, good." 9 Firmament's remembrance said "good" twice before saying, "You learned the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape. Show it to me." Tang Ao's face lit up with joy. Since Nian Jiuxiao had said that, it was obvious that Nian Jiuxiao had accepted him. Now, Nian Jiuxiao wanted to test his cultivation results. Tang Ao did not hesitate and instantly released the Thunderbolt seal. After that, Tang Ao's figure instantly appeared in the middle of the group of shadow beasts outside the cave. Under the perception of the group of shadow beasts, Tang Ao seemed to suddenly appear in that place without any warning. Before the shadow beasts could react, Tang Ao used the Thunder Shadow Phantom again and returned to the cave. When Tang Ao returned, he was speechless to find that 9 heavens, who had been in high spirits just a moment ago, had fallen asleep again. The only difference was that on the stone table at the side, there was an additional jade slip. On the jade slip were 4 large golden words: Heavenly Thunder Tao Art. Just like elixirs and spiritual weapons, cultivation techniques also had different grades. According to the classification standard of the Zhenwu Jia, the martial techniques were divided into 6 stages: Heaven, Earth, Mysterious, Yellow, Hodiyan, and Xiantian. In his previous life, Tang Ao had cultivated the Mysterious Heaven skill, which was an elementary post-celestial skill. In this life, Tang Ao had cultivated the Ancient God Moving Sky skill, which was an intermediate post-celestial skill. However, the Thunder Dao technique in front of Tang Ao was a top-notch Xiantian technique. There were a total of 36 pinnacle Xiantian cultivation techniques, and every single one of them was a treasure that countless people would fight over. But at this moment, such an incomparably precious technique had appeared directly in front of Tang Ao. After bowing to 9 heavens once again, Tang Ao picked up the Thunder Dao technique solemnly. When this Thunder Dao technique had appeared, it had caused many experts to fight over it. 9 heavens had obtained this Thunder Dao technique from many experts. Now that 9 heavens had passed the Thunder Dao technique to Tang Ao, it showed that 9 heavens had high hopes for Tang Ao. Chapter 26:11. Sensing the ancient aura of the sky Thunder Dao in his hand, Tang Ao knew that this was the original scroll. A sword aura flew out from his finger and sliced through Tang Ao's fingertip. With a thought, a drop of blood flew out from Tang Ao's finger. Then, Tang Ao drew a talisman on the jade slip. After the blood-colored talisman appeared, the sky Thunder Dao jade slip immediately turned into a golden lightning bolt and appeared between Tang Ao's eyebrows. It was completely different from what Tang Ao had imagined. The sky Thunder Dao didn't have a single word. There was only this golden lightning bolt. However, when Tang Ao's psyche touched this golden lightning bolt, Tang Ao's psyche was instantly devoured by a majestic aura. Tang Ao even felt that his soul was about to be crushed by this aura. At that moment, the chaotic 6-light mirror that could not be used before automatically protected Tang Ao. It emitted boundless Taoist rhymes that protected Tang Ao's body and resisted the golden lightning. Seeing this, Tang Ao was shocked. In the past, when the primal chaos 6-light mirror attacked, it would definitely crush everything in its path. However, this time, the primal chaos 6-light mirror could only resist the golden lightning bolt. How could Tang Ao not be shocked? Rumble! A lightning bolt exploded in Tang Ao's sea of consciousness. The primal chaos 6-light mirror's aura was forced back. Immediately, this powerful lightning force spread in all directions. The endless lightning bolt was about to devour Tang Ao completely. Tang Ao was greatly shocked and wanted to ask Remembrance of 9 heavens for help. However, Tang Ao realized that he couldn't move at all. He couldn't even speak. Dong! At this moment, the law of fire in Tang Ao's body, which didn't respond no matter how Tang Ao tried to communicate with it, suddenly beat like a heart. When the raging golden lightning sensed the law of fire, it immediately rushed over greedily. However, a formless flame spread out, and the terrifying golden lightning was like snow falling into a pot of boiling oil, quickly melting away. Shortly after, the aura of the law of fire spread throughout Tang Ao's body. When the netherworld flame in Tang Ao's body sensed the law of fire, it immediately trembled. It was as if it was not the predecessor of the immortal dark flame, but an ordinary flame that had met the Emperor of Flames. However, after the aura of the Fire Dao law discovered the netherworld fire, it seemed to have found an outlet and actually fused with the netherworld fire. Subsequently, Tang Ao was shocked to see the nether flame, which was initially a grade 3 immortal flame, break through to a grade 4 immortal flame in the blink of an eye. A grade 4 immortal flame was an existence that could threaten yin-yang realm martial artists. It wasn't that Tang Ao didn't think that there would be a day when he could evolve the nether flame. However, Tang Ao really didn't expect the nether flame to evolve in this way. While Tang Ao was shocked, he was also pleasantly surprised. Tang Ao didn't expect the nether flame to evolve so easily this time. The nether flame wasn't an ordinary flame. It was an immortal flame that could grow to a grade 9 immortal flame. After the nether flame evolved to a grade 3 immortal flame, it required a huge amount of treasures or special fire-type treasures to barely continue evolving the nether flame. Chapter 26:12. It was as if this was a place where only lightning existed. These lightning bolts emitted a terrifying aura. Although they kept whistling towards Tang Ao, they didn't seem to have any intention of attacking Tang Ao. When Tang Ao's attention landed on one of the lightning bolts, a piece of information immediately appeared in Tang Ao's mind. This lightning bolt was a cultivation technique. However, this cultivation technique wasn't the Sky Thunder Dao technique. It was just an ordinary heaven-grade cultivation technique. Tang Ao didn't linger as he continued forward. Then, Tang Ao's lightning bolt seemed to be attracted by Tang Ao as it flew towards Tang Ao. When Tang Ao's consciousness landed on this lightning bolt, his face darkened. This was actually an ordinary yellow-grade cultivation technique. Tang Ao had thought that something that could fly towards him would definitely be a heaven-defying item. Just as Tang Ao was about to give up, Tang Ao suddenly stopped in his tracks and grabbed the lightning bolt. When Tang Ao had casually scanned it, he had discovered that the cultivation technique in this lightning bolt was only an ordinary yellow-grade cultivation technique. However, when Tang Ao grabbed the lightning bolt and took a closer look, Tang Ao immediately discovered that the cultivation technique recorded in this lightning bolt actually didn't have a grade. Although it didn't have a grade, this lightning bolt contained a fluctuation that Tang Ao was very familiar with. In the past, Tang Ao might not have known what this fluctuation was. However, now, Tang Ao already knew what it was. This nearly transparent lightning bolt was different from the other lightning bolts in this space. What was recorded on this lightning bolt wasn't a cultivation technique, but an incomplete mnemonic chant. The reason why it was incomplete was because this lightning bolt was only half complete. Tang Ao could even clearly see the traces of this lightning bolt breaking apart. This lightning bolt wasn't an ordinary cultivation technique, but a Thunder Dao law. Because Tang Ao had the Fire Dao law in his body, Tang Ao was able to recognize the Thunder Dao law. In the memory fragments of the Fire Dao law, Tang Ao saw the eternal Dao fruit shatter and turn into 9 Dao laws. These 9 Dao laws were metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, ice, and darkness. Now the Fire Dao law was in Tang Ao's body, while the other half of the Thunder Dao law was in front of Tang Ao. Tang Ao sighed inwardly. His luck was amazing, as he actually had the opportunity to encounter 2 Dao laws. However, even though Tang Ao had seen the Thunder Dao law, Tang Ao didn't know what. Although Tang Ao recognized the Thunder Dao law, he still couldn't communicate with it. Moreover, this Thunder Dao law was incomplete. Tang Ao didn't know if the other half of the Thunder Dao law had been communicated with by his master, read the 9 heavens. If the other half of the Lightning Dao law was communicated with by thought of 9 heavens, then Tang Ao would not have any ideas about this half of the Lightning Dao law, no matter what. Tang Ao was not trash like Lei Tianwu. Just as Tang Ao was hesitating, a scene instantly appeared in Tang Ao's mind. Then, Tang Ao saw the scene he had seen before. Previously, Tang Ao had also seen many incomplete scenes through the Fire Dao law. However, that was from the perspective of the Fire Dao law. Now it was from the perspective of the Thunder Dao law. In the beginning, it was still the godly monarch experts fighting for the eternal Dao fruit. After the eternal Dao fruit shattered, It turned into 9 Tao laws, and several experts fought for the Thunder Tao law together. Chapter 26:13. Even the Thunder Tao law in the red-robed Taoist's hand was severed by the sword. Tang Ao was stunned. Although Tang Ao knew that the power of a godly king was beyond his imagination, Tang Ao had never imagined that a godly king would actually be this terrifying. It had to be known that this was no ordinary item. It was the Thunder Tao law of the 9 great Tao laws of the world. However, the Thunder Tao law was also severed by the white-robed godly king's sword. After the Thunder Tao law was severed, the 2 godly kings struck at the same time. The sword-wielding godly king obtained a portion of it, while the other portion was in the hands of the red-robed godly king. As it turned out, the red-robed godly king had only snatched the Thunder Tao law from a clone. The image abruptly stopped here, but Tang Ao's mind was filled with more information. From this information, Tang Ao knew that the Thunder Tao law in front of him was the half that the red-robed Taoist had obtained back then. As for the other half, it was in the hands of the sword-wielding godly king, and its whereabouts were still unknown. After understanding this, Tang Ao rejoiced. As long as the other half of the Thunder Tao law wasn't in the hands of Thought Jiao Xiao, Tang Ao wouldn't feel any pressure. However, Tang Ao was stunned very quickly. This was because Tang Ao discovered that the Thunder Tao law he had just seen had already appeared in his body and was resonating with the Fire Tao law. Tang Ao was a little stunned. Obtaining a Tao law by chance was a great blessing for Tang Ao. However, what made Tang Ao feel helpless was that the Thunder Tao law was similar to the Fire Tao law. They were both heaven-defying items, but Tang Ao couldn't communicate with or use these 2 Tao laws. This was like an ordinary person possessing Tang Ao's primordial sacred sky Bao, but being unable to use it. He knew that it was a supreme treasure, but he couldn't do anything about it. That feeling was unbearable. Fortunately, Tang Ao already had experience with the Fire Tao law, so he wasn't too disappointed. After all, Tang Ao's purpose in coming to the Thunder Space this time was to obtain the Sky Thunder Tao, not to use the Thunder Tao law. As Tang Ao was thinking about the heavenly Thunder Tao, Tang Ao suddenly realized that the Thunder Tao law within his body was emitting a gentle glow. Under this glow, the boundless lightning around him immediately revealed its true form. At this moment, there was no need for Tang Ao to repeatedly observe. Tang Ao could tell which thunderbolt represented with a single glance. Tang Ao quickly found the heavenly thunder Tao technique hidden in the depths of the many lightning bolts. Tang Ao suddenly had the illusion that he could completely dominate this space at this moment. With a thought, the heavenly lightning Tao technique really flew towards Tang Ao. Tang Ao grabbed it with one hand, and the cultivation method of the heavenly thunder Tao technique appeared clearly in Tang Ao's mind. Tang Ao was ecstatic. Tang Ao hadn't expected to obtain the cultivation method of the heavenly thunder Tao technique so easily. After obtaining the heavenly thunder Tao technique, Tang Ao's consciousness easily withdrew from this space. Tang Ao saw that Nian Jiaoxiao was still unconscious at the moment. Hence, Tang Ao walked to the side quietly and began to cultivate the heavenly thunder Tao technique. The heavenly thunder Tao technique was a connate top-notch cultivation method, so Tang Ao was looking forward to it. As time passed slowly, Tang Ao was completely immersed in the cultivation of the heavenly thunder Tao technique. In the outside world, Silver Moon, Eagle 9, Scarlet, and Black Armor had already been separated. Chapter 26:14. However, Ying Jiao and Luo Shi did not expect that when the immortal ruined chamber of commerce warriors were about to return to the gathering place, they would be ambushed by a blood race warrior. Luo Shi and Huang Qir had escaped together, while Shi, Ying Jiao, and the rest had naturally gone their separate ways. The Mystic Moon Mirror could only absorb one cultivator a month. Otherwise, Silver Moon would have really wanted to kill the blood demon that was chasing her relentlessly. Normally, blood beasts were extremely handsome after transforming, even more so than the handsome men and beautiful women of the human race. However, the blood beast chasing after Silver Moon had transformed into a slobbering fatty with a perverted look in his eyes. Silver Moon didn't dare to compliment his appearance. However, what made Silver Moon feel helpless was that this fatty was at the first stage of the yin-yang realm. In a situation where the mystic moon mirror couldn't unleash its full power, Silver Moon wasn't a match for this fatty. Silver Moon turned around and saw the blood beast's perverted look. She spat lightly, then shook her teeth and continued flying forward. At this moment, Silver Moon was filled with regret. Dealing with a mere astral-reaching realm 4th level warrior like Tang Ao, even if she were to personally attack, it would only take a bit more time. Right now, the Mystic Moon Mirror could not be used for a month. Looking at the blood beast chasing after her, Silver Moon really wanted to cry, but had no tears. Big Beauty, stop right there. Let me drink all of your blood. While chasing, the blood beast let out a mocking laugh. Silver Moon's face was a bit pale. Apart from using too much of her immortal spirit power, she had also suffered quite a bit of injuries. Otherwise, if she wanted to escape, this blood beast would not be able to catch up. Silver Moon was secretly anxious. If this continued, she would be caught by this disgusting blood beast sooner or later. Moreover, as time passed, Silver Moon's injuries became more and more serious. After thinking for a while, she waved her hand and summoned the Mystic Moon Mirror. As Silver Moon sped forward, she quickly formed several hand seals, and a crack appeared on the Mystic Moon Mirror. Silver Moon yelled at the crack, "Tang Ao, get the hell out. I'm letting you out." Within the Mystic Moon Mirror's space, Tang Ao had just finished cultivating the Heavenly Thunder Dao technique. Although he was still not proficient with it, Tang Ao had learned many Thunder Dao techniques in just a few days. Suddenly hearing Silver Moon's words, Tang Ao's face lit up, but then he hesitated. In the beginning, Tang Ao did not like the Mystic Lunar Mirror space because it was filled with incomparably savage shadow beasts. However, Tang Ao became the disciple of the Thunder Emperor, remembrance of the 9 heavens. Similarly, in the Mystic Lunar Mirror, Tang Ao obtained the Sky, Thunder Dao, and half of the Thunder Dao Law. Even Tang Ao's Netherworld Flame advanced by 1 grade. Not only that, Tang Ao had also learned the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape and collected many Moonlight Stones. Tang Ao suddenly realized that this place was simply a paradise for him. If he continued to stay here, he simply didn't know what kind of benefits he could obtain in the future. "I'm not going out." Thinking of this, Tang Ao immediately rejected righteously. When Silver Moon, who was flying in midair, heard Tang Ao's words, she immediately staggered and almost fell out of the air. In the past, those who were trapped by her, other than a few who stubbornly persisted, most of them kept begging for mercy after a few days. This was the first time Silver Moon met someone like Tang Ao who was unwilling to come out after entering. Chapter 26:15. Are you afraid that I will go back on my word, or that there will be an ambush outside? Silver Moon immediately thought of this. Tang Ao was still rather cautious. Previously, he had been caught by her array formation because he didn't understand her at all. Hence, Silver Moon thought that Tang Ao must be afraid of an ambush outside, or that she wouldn't keep her word. That was why he didn't come out. After understanding this point, Silver Moon immediately said, "Junior brother Tang Ao, don't worry. I will keep my word. I will definitely let you go when I say I will. You also don't have to worry about an ambush outside. I'm alone now." Silver Moon's words were very sincere. At this moment, Silver Moon was really at her wit's end. Seeing that the blood demon was getting closer and closer to her, Silver Moon could even imagine the terrifying scene of the blood demon biting her and sucking her blood. I naturally trust senior sister Silver Moon. However, I am doing very well in the Mystic Lunar Mirror. I will not go out, Tang Ao said after thinking for a moment. Tang Ao's words were half-truths. as Tang Ao didn't believe Silver Moon at all. This woman's methods were too powerful. Previously, when Tang Ao faced Silver Moon, he didn't let his guard down at all. However, Tang Ao still fell for her trick. As for the last sentence, Tang Ao didn't lie. That was, Tang Ao was really doing very well in the mystic lunar mirror. After learning the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape, Tang Ao knew that it wasn't that the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape couldn't leave this space. Rather, thought of the 9 heavens needed the moonlight essence to stabilize the chaotic Tao runes in its body. Tang Ao guessed that Silver Moon didn't suck thought of the 9 heavens into the mystic lunar mirror. Silver Moon simply didn't have this ability. Hence, thought of the 9 heavens entered this space by itself using the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape. If Tang Ao suddenly entered such a space, Tang Ao really wouldn't be able to do it. However, if he marked the mystic lunar mirror, Tang Ao would be able to enter and exit the mystic lunar mirror freely. As long as Tang Ao was willing, Tang Ao could execute the Thunder Shadow illusory body and appear outside the mystic moon mirror. Because there was a soul remembrance mark in the mystic moon mirror space, Tang Ao could instantly return. However, it had to be before the soul remembrance imprint disappeared. If it was in the outside world, Tang Ao's soul remembrance imprint could last for at least a month. If it was a soul remembrance imprint, without any external interference, it could last for a few thousand years. However, Tang Ao clearly didn't have a soul remembrance imprint, so Tang Ao could only use a soul remembrance imprint. Tang Ao had already decided to use a soul remembrance imprint to mark the area and take a look before immediately returning. At this moment, Silver Moon was on the verge of vomiting blood. She had never imagined that she would meet a fella like Tang Ao. Silver Moon could use the mystic lunar mirror to suck Tang Ao into the mystic lunar mirror, but she couldn't take the initiative to throw Tang Ao out. She could only open a gap and let Tang Ao come out. However, this despicable Tang Ao still wasn't willing to come out. Although she hated Tang Ao to death, Silver Moon still adjusted her tone. After opening a gap, she used the most gentle tone to speak to Tang Ao. Junior Apprentice Tang Ao, I was just playing with you before. Your senior apprentice brother Luo 11 and junior apprentice sister Huang Kier weren't injured. I locked you in the mystic lunar mirror as a joke. Now, I want to use the mystic lunar mirror. Hurry up and come out. In the future, if you still want to go in, I can release you into the mystic lunar mirror at any time. Hearing Silver Moon's words, Tang Ao's head was full of questions. Luo 11 and Huang Kier were fine, so Silver Moon probably wouldn't lie to him. Moreover, with Luo 11 and Huang Kier's strength, Ingju definitely wouldn't be able to escape. If Huang Kier was forced into a corner and summoned Cain, then Ingju and the others might already be dead. However, Tang Ao couldn't figure out what had happened to Silver Moon. Although he didn't know what had happened to Silver Moon, Tang Ao knew that because of him, Silver Moon couldn't use the mystic lunar mirror as she pleased. Although Tang Ao was ready to go out and take a look, Tang Ao still said, "There's no need to trouble senior apprentice sister Silver Moon. When I'm done here, I will naturally call you senior apprentice sister." Tang Ao. Silver Moon wanted to curse at Tang Ao, but she only managed to say 3 words before a bloody light bombarded Silver Moon's back. Silver Moon was immediately sent flying. She coughed up a few mouthfuls of blood in the air, and her whole body's aura was very weak. Silver Moon's heart went cold. She thought to herself that she was finished this time. Chapter 26:16. Silver Moon closed her eyes in despair as she watched the blood demon's claws approach her. There was only one thing she could do right now, and that was to explode her soul and perish together with the detestable blood demon. Blood demons were even more mysterious than the blood race. Even if a level 9 astral-reaching realm warrior's self-destructing Yuan spirit was not weak, she would still need to be close enough to kill this blood demon. A thick smell of blood was detected by Silver Moon. It was a smell that she hated the most. At the same time, she knew that everything was over. just as she was about to reverse her immortal yuan and self-destruct her yuan spirit. A beam of lightning suddenly flew out of the mystic moon mirror. As soon as Tang Ao came out, he saw a powerful Yin-Yang realm level 1 blood demon charging at Silvermoon. Seeing Tang Ao come out, Silvermoon was not happy at all. Instead, she was filled with endless sorrow. This damn Tang Ao did not come out earlier or later. He came out of the mirror at this time, and she would not be able to use the mirror to deal with this blood demon. This process sounded complicated, but it actually happened in the blink of an eye. It did not even take a breath's time. When Tang Ao saw the blood demon charging at him, he did not hesitate. He formed a seal with both of his hands, and thousands of thunder hand seals appeared around Tang Ao. These thunder hand seals were no longer normal lightning. They contained the aura of Thunder Dao, the power of thunder cultivated by the heavenly Thunder Dao art. After cultivating the Thunder Dao art, this was the first time Tang Ao used the 1,000 thunder hand seals. Boom! The 1,000 thunder hand seals roared out, and the blood demon was caught off guard. Half of its body was directly destroyed by Tang Ao's 1,000 thunder hand seals. If it were a head-on battle, even if Tang Ao's 1,000 thunder hand seals were powerful, it would not be enough to achieve such a result. However, at this moment, the blood demon's attention was completely on Silvermoon. With the appearance of the Thunder Shadow Phantom, there were no spatial fluctuations in the surroundings. Without any defense, even this Yin-Yang Realm Level 1 blood demon would not be able to withstand Tang Ao's attack. However, after Tang Ao's attack succeeded, he did not pursue. His figure flashed, and Tang Ao returned to the mystic moon mirror once again. All of this happened in a very short period of time. From a moment the blood demon attacked the silver moon to the moment Tang Ao appeared and executed the 1,000 thunder hand seal, as well as Tang Ao returning to the mystic lunar mirror, all of this happened in the span of a single breath. Of course, it wasn't that Tang Ao didn't want to chase after the blood demon. It was because Tang Ao discovered that the 1,000 thunder hand imprint used by the heavenly thunder, Dao, consumed a terrifying amount of celestial essence energy. Although Tang Ao's previous attack looked extremely overbearing, he only used 60% of the 1,000 lightning hand imprint's power. The reason for this was because the immortal spiritual energy within Tang Ao's body was completely exhausted. Silvermoon stared blankly at the struggling blood demon and then at the mystic lunar mirror. Silvermoon had long since refined the mystic lunar mirror. Although she could not completely control the mystic lunar mirror, she knew that Tang Ao had come out of the mystic lunar mirror by himself. Now he had run back in. If it wasn't for the fact that her connection with the mystic lunar mirror did not change, Silvermoon would really suspect that the mystic lunar mirror had been refined by Tang Ao. Chapter 26:17. This was the secret art of the Moon Clan. Under the illumination of the new moon, Silvermoon's cultivation base continued to rise, and the immortal Yuan power inside her body had also changed. The essence of the moonlight continued to merge with the immortal Yuan power, giving birth to an even more powerful immortal Yuan power. Around Silvermoon, countless symbols flickered. These symbols revolved around the silver moon, seeming to awaken something. Moon Ritual. Silvermoon's fingertip drew out a blade light, directly cutting open her snow-white wrist. Drops of crystal-red blood dripped onto the array, and the new moon above her head also turned into a blood moon. This process lasted for a long time. When the new moon had completely turned into a blood moon, Silvermoon's aura suddenly changed. At this moment, Silvermoon was no longer at the 9th level of Astral Reaching Realm, but at the 3rd level of Yin-Yang Realm. The secret arts of the Moon Clan had always been horrifying. It was also because of these horrifying secret arts that the Moon Clan was coveted and feared by a lot of people. Because of the law of thunder, even at this moment, the Blood Beast's body was still numb. After performing the Blood Moon ritual, Silvermoon took a step forward and arrived next to the Blood Beast. She immediately raised her right hand, about to attack the Blood Beast. However, she was immediately shocked to discover that there was a horrifying thunder aura inside the Blood Beast's body. Tang Ao had shattered half of the blood beast body with one palm attack, and under the ravaging thunder aura, the blood beast had already been killed by the thunder aura. The reason why it did not twitch was because the thunder aura had not completely dissipated and was still wreaking havoc inside the blood beast body. Boom! Silver Moon pushed out her palm, and a moon-shaped seal exploded the blood beast into pieces. Damn Tang Ao! For what she could see now, the reason why Tang Ao did not chase was because Tang Ao knew that the blood beast would die for sure. Therefore, Tang Ao did not bother to chase after it. Thinking up to this point, Silver Moon immediately realized that Tang Ao must have hidden his strength. Otherwise, how could Luo 11 and the other two dare to lure Ingjiu over? On Ingjiu's side, Ingjiu was at the 3rd level of Yin-Yang realm, and only Luo Shi could fight against him. Black Armor and Qi Hong were both at the 6th level of Astral Reaching realm. If Tang Ao and Huang Qir were really as the information said, then they would not be their opponents at all. But in reality, Qi Hong and He Jia had been defeated by Tang Ao and Huang Qir. Although she had trapped Tang Ao in the Mystic Lunar Mirror, when she saw Tang Ao move freely in the Mystic Lunar Mirror, she did not feel that she had trapped Tang Ao. Furthermore, now that she was carrying the Mystic Lunar Mirror, she felt like she was carrying a bomb. She did not know when Tang Ao would suddenly appear. Tang Ao, get out. I won't allow you to enter my Mystic Moon Mirror. Silver Moon said to the Mystic Moon Mirror as it floated in the air. Within the Mystic Lunar Mirror, the immortal spiritual energy that Tang Ao had previously used up had already recovered. At this moment, Tang Ao was continuing to cultivate the heavenly lightning Tao. Suddenly hearing Silver Moon's words, Tang Ao faintly smiled and did not bother to reply. The flow of time in the Mystic Moon Mirror was extremely fast. Although it was not as good as Pill St. Greenrock's time Secret Realm, the cultivation effect was still excellent. Of course, Tang Ao also discovered that there was a wave of moon power constantly eroding him, as if it wanted to assimilate him into the mirror. However, whenever Tang Ao's heavenly lightning Tao swept out, this moon power would suddenly dissipate. Therefore, Tang Ao was completely unaffected inside the Mystic Moon Mirror. Nine Heavens Thought had also cultivated the heavenly lightning Tao. Who knew how long he had been inside the Mystic Moon Mirror, but Nine Heavens Thought was also unaffected by this invisible moon power. Chapter 26:18. The white-robed youth that Tang Ao had seen before was actually a moon tiger. When Silver Moon didn't summon these moon tigers, they would be endlessly killing shadow beasts within the Mystic Moon Mirror. These endless shadow beasts seemed to be existences that were not recognized by the Mystic Moon Mirror. However, although there were many moon tigers within the mirror, the number of shadow beasts was simply too great. It was simply impossible to kill them all. Tang Ao completely ignored Silver Moon's words. Seeing that Tang Ao didn't reply, Silver Moon had no choice but to put away the mirror angrily. Right now, Silver Moon only wanted to find a soul refining pool and throw the mirror in. Once Tang Ao came out, she would teach him a lesson. However, it seemed impossible to find a soul refining pool in the desolate martial realm. In the cave, Remembrance woke up once again. This time, he didn't go crazy, nor did he reveal a blank expression. Instead, he looked at Tang Ao with a serious expression. Tang Ao's diligence and progress far exceeded Nine Heavens Thought's imagination. The 7 disciples of Nine Heavens Thought were all outstanding geniuses, but now Nine Heavens Thought discovered that Tang Ao's martial Dao talent was equally amazing. With a flash, Remembrance appeared before Tang Ao and said, "Not bad. In such a short time, you've already entered the 1st level of the Thunder Realm." The so-called 1st level of the Thunder Realm was the division of the Heavenly Thunder Dao Art. There were 9 levels of the Thunder Realm in total. Reaching the 1st level of the Thunder Realm was the entry level. If one couldn't even reach the 1st level of the Thunder Realm, it meant that one couldn't cultivate the Heavenly Thunder Dao Art. The highest level of the Heavenly Thunder Dao Art was the 9th level of the Thunder Realm. Even at his peak, Remembrance had only reached the 7th level of the Thunder Realm. As for Tao, Master Sky, Marshall, and the others, they were only at the 6th level of the Thunder Realm. Of course, after such a long time, no one knew how many levels of the Thunder Realm Tao, Master Sky, Marshall had reached. Master, hearing Remembrance's words, Tang Ao immediately cupped his fists. Yes, 9 Revolutions Demonic Thunder is the strongest offensive spell among the heavenly thunder arts. With your current astral reaching realm cultivation base, you can't cultivate it yet. When you reach the Yin-Yang realm, you'll be able to cultivate the 9 Revolutions Demonic Thunder. When you reach the Hun-Tian realm, you should be able to cast the 9 Revolutions Demonic Thunder. Remembering the 9 heavens looked at Tang Ao with satisfaction. This disciple will remember Master's teachings. Hearing 9 heavens' words, Tang Ao smiled bitterly in his heart. Let alone the celestial universe stage, who knew how long it would take for him to reach the yin-yang stage. I'll give this to you to protect yourself. As he spoke, Remembrance of the 9 heavens pulled out a lightning pearl. This thunder bead was very calm. However, Tang Ao could sense that this thunder bead contained an extremely terrifying aura. Master, what is this? Tang Ao asked, puzzled. This is the heavenly thunder bead. I condensed it from the thunder yuan at my peak. When you cultivate the heavenly thunder Tao art to the 3rd level of the thunder realm, you'll be able to activate this heavenly thunder bead. Even an ordinary Hun-Tian realm expert would be killed by this heavenly thunder bead if they're caught off guard. 9 Heaven's face had a smug expression. This heavenly thunder bead was created by remembering the 9 heavens himself. Without a cultivation base of the 7th level of the thunder realm, it was impossible to condense a heavenly thunder bead. Chapter 26:19. Brat, do you think it's that easy to get the sky thunder bead? Even at my peak, it would take me 1,000 years to refine one sky thunder bead. This old man has so many things to do, so where would I find the time to refine it? If you want it, you can cultivate to the 7th level of Thunder Realm and slowly refine it. After giving the sky thunder bead to Tang Ao, Nian Jiuxiao's figure flashed and disappeared from a cave. Tang Ao sighed inwardly. This old man is so stingy. 1,000 years is nothing even for astral-reaching realm martial artists, and chaotic sky realm experts have an endless lifespan. They wouldn't feel anything in 1,000 years. Therefore, Tang Ao guessed that Nian Jiuxiao must have more sky thunder beads. Tang Ao's guess was right. Nian Jiuxiao still had a lot of sky thunder beads. However, Nian Jiuxiao didn't want Tang Ao to be too reliant on external forces. Instead, he hoped that Tang Ao would concentrate on cultivation. The sky thunder bead could protect him for a while, but not forever. Only with absolute strength could one travel unhindered. Moreover, the sky thunder bead's use was limited. Although it could deal with chaotic sky realm martial artists, it could only deal with early chaotic sky realm martial artists. It would have no effect on top chaotic sky realm martial artists or even Dao sovereign martial artists. Although Nian Jiuxiao had only given Tang Ao one sky thunder bead, Tang Ao was still very happy. With this sky thunder bead, even if he couldn't deal with chaotic sky realm martial artists, he would have no problem dealing with yin-yang realm martial artists. However, Tang Ao wasn't too happy. The sky thunder bead could only be activated by the 3rd level of Thunder Realm Heavenly Thunder Tao Art. Right now, Tang Ao obviously couldn't use it, because Tang Ao was only at the 1st level of Thunder Realm. There was still a long way to go before he could reach the 3rd level. Tang Ao estimated that he would have to cultivate to the peak of Astral Reaching Realm Level 9, or even Yin-Yang Realm before he could reach the 3rd level of Thunder Realm. After cultivating the Heavenly Thunder Tao Art for a while, Tang Ao continued to cultivate the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape. Tang Ao knew the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape's incantation and hand seals by heart. However, Tang Ao was unable to condense the junior sister's Heavenly Lightning Dharma Seal to execute the Purple Thunder Heavenly Escape. Now, even if Tang Ao used all his strength, he could only condense 4 Thunder Seals. He could use the Thunder Shadow Phantom Body 4 times. Nine Heaven's Remembrance was either asleep or guiding Tang Ao in his cultivation. He had been gone for a long time this time and had yet to return. However, Tang Ao wasn't worried. Inside the mystic moon mirror, Tang Ao could come and go as he pleased. Anything that could threaten thought Jiu Xiao didn't exist inside the mystic moon mirror. After another month, Tang Ao cultivated to the peak of the first level of Thunder Realm. Tang Ao's cultivation base had also broken through the 4th level of Astral Reaching Realm, reaching the 5th level of Astral Reaching Realm. Moreover, his cultivation base was extremely stable. Tang Ao stopped cultivating. It wasn't that Tang Ao didn't want to continue cultivating, but that the cultivation resources Tang Ao had obtained from the Immortal Ruin Chamber of Commerce had already been used up. Tang Ao had been cultivating inside the Mystic Moon Mirror for a month, but Silver Moon had only been outside for half a day. The time flow inside the mirror was not only faster than the outside world, but also unstable. During this half a day, Silver Moon had been looking for Huang Qir. She believed that as long as Huang Qir was in danger, Tang Ao would definitely come out. Chapter 2620. However, the Blood Clan had begun to fight to the death. A large number of Blood Clan warriors kept appearing in the Gale Desert. It seemed that the Blood Clan had been badly beaten by the Chamber of Commerce in the Ruins of Immortality, so the Blood Clan did not want the Chamber of Commerce to retreat unscathed. Therefore, the number of Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce's cultivators who had died during this period had also increased rapidly. Until now, more than 100 martial artists on the 2 roll of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins had died. Silver Moon didn't find Huang Qir, but a black light flew over from afar. Silver Moon was puzzled when she saw the black light. This black shadow was none other than Ingjiu. Silver Moon hadn't expected Ingjiu to have a way to steal it from Luo Shi. When everyone had dispersed, Luo Shi had chased Ingjiu relentlessly. From the Silver Moon on his token, it could be seen that Luo Shi was still alive. This meant that Ingjiu had shaken off Luo Shi and escaped. However, Silver Moon could see that Ingjiu wasn't in a good state. His aura was chaotic, and his soul remembrance was weak. "I didn't think you'd really escape from Luo 11, Silver Moon said to Ingjiu. "Ha-ha, Luo 11 won't be able to kill me this time. He will be dead in the future." Ingjiu did not expect to meet Silver Moon here. Ingjiu's arm, which had been cut off by Luo Shi, had now been reattached. Ingjiu's remembrance swept the surroundings and asked, "Where are Black Armor and Qi Hong?" "We ran into a Yin-Yang Realm blood demon and got separated." Silver Moon wasn't lying. Previously, when they were fleeing, that blood demon had suddenly appeared. Black Armor and Qi Hong were so scared that they pissed their pants and ran away. Silver Moon did not know why she was so unlucky. That blood demon did not chase after Qi Hong or He Jia. Instead, it chased after her. Fortunately, that blood demon had been killed by Tang Ao not long ago. So that's how it is. As Ingjiu spoke, he suddenly struck out with his claw. Silver Moon could never have imagined that Ingjiu would attack her. "Senior brother Ingyu." Silver Moon had always been on guard against Ingjiu, but she didn't think that Ingjiu would attack her. Especially at this time, Ingjiu had no reason to attack her. Ingjiu's sharp claws pierced through Silver Moon's left shoulder. Ingjiu also absorbed 70% of Silver Moon's blood essence. Silver Moon's face was extremely pale. Silver Moon didn't expect that she would die at the hands of Ingjiu instead of being killed by the blood demon. But at this moment, Silver Moon suddenly saw a look of struggle on Ingjiu's face. Soon after, Ingjiu's eyes became a little clearer. In front of Silver Moon's shocked eyes, Ingjiu suddenly raised his left hand and cut off his right arm that was grabbing Silver Moon. Then he said, "Get lost." As Ingjiu spoke, his body seemed to lose control of itself as he charged towards Silver Moon again. "Half of my primordial spirit has been devoured by the blood demon. Get out of here." Ingjiu said these words with great difficulty, trembling. It turned out that when Luo Shi was chasing after Ingjiu, the two of them fought again. Ingjio, who was already injured, was even more injured. This gave the blood demon an opportunity. A blood demon took advantage of Ingjio's weakened state and devoured half of his Yuan Shun. At this moment, Ingjio was beyond saving. Ingjio knew that the blood demon had devoured his primordial spirit in order to control his body. Chapter 26-21. Half of your primordial spirit has been devoured. You can't be saved. Why don't I end your pain? Silvermoon said after swallowing a healing pill. It wasn't that Silvermoon was cruel, but what she said was the truth. Having one's primordial spirit devoured by a blood demon was extremely painful. When Ingjio's primordial spirit completely dissipated, Ingjio's body would be completely controlled by the blood demon. No warrior would want their body to become a vessel for the blood demon after they died. Get lost, Ingjio struggled to say. If Silvermoon was stronger, then her suggestion would be good. But Silvermoon's cultivation was lower than his, and now that she was injured, how could she be his opponent? Roar! Suddenly, Ingjio let out another roar and turned into a blur as he charged at Silvermoon. However, halfway through, Ingjio's figure suddenly stopped. Get lost? I can't control it anymore. Moon's sacrifice ceremony. Silvermoon didn't hesitate and called out the new moon above her head again. But Silvermoon didn't realize that Ingjio's clear eyes had turned completely red. When the new moon's radiance shone on Silvermoon, Ingjio's aura suddenly exploded and he appeared in front of Silvermoon. Without waiting for Silvermoon to make a hand seal, two arms made of blood energy suddenly grabbed her wrist and broke her arms without the slightest bit of mercy. Silvermoon almost fainted from the pain, but before she could do anything, Ingjio sent out another blood claw, aiming for Silvermoon's heart. Boom! A bolt of purple lightning flashed, and the blood claw was instantly cut off. Then Silvermoon's figure appeared several feet away. While Silvermoon was unconscious, she felt her body being hugged by a warm body. She was obviously very weak, but she felt a sense of security that she had never felt before. Silvermoon looked up and saw Tang Ao's cold face. Tang Ao was definitely the person Silvermoon hated the most, but at this moment, Silvermoon felt that Tang Ao didn't seem to be so annoying. Thinking about this, Silvermoon's eyes suddenly went black and she fainted. Tang Ao put Silvermoon aside and looked at Ingjio, who was not far away. Under Tang Ao's sky-polar eyes, Tang Ao knew that Ingjio no longer existed. The one controlling Ingjio was a powerful blood demon whose strength was comparable to an yin-yang realm level 1. Ingjio could be considered a formidable character, but he never expected to fall into the hands of the blood demon in the end. Although Tang Ao had killed a blood demon with a sneak attack last time, Tang Ao did not dare to be careless when facing a blood demon this time. Tang Ao even planned to test it out. If he wasn't a match for the blood demon, he would use Thunder Shadow Phantom Body to escape with Silvermoon. It's you. To Tang Ao's surprise, the blood demon didn't attack immediately. Instead, it spoke. You know me? Tang Ao didn't expect the blood demon to talk to him. Of course I know you. You're someone the blood tribe must kill. Your blood must be delicious. As the blood demon spoke, he stuck out his tongue and licked the blood that had yet to dry on his claws. Gee. However, at this moment, another bolt of purple lightning appeared out of nowhere. Before Tang Ao could react, a figure appeared beside Tang Ao. Even the blood demon's eyes were wide open. Obviously, he didn't expect there to be such an expert nearby. Chapter 26-22. The moonlight essence in the mystic moon mirror is no longer useful to me. I'm going to the sacred, everlasting realm to stabilize my Taoist aura. Cultivate well, and don't expose your identity. When you've reached the celestial realm, you can come to the sacred, everlasting realm to find me. After Remembrance finished speaking, the purple lightning streaked across the sky and disappeared. The purple thunder heavenly escape was the best escape technique in the world. Tang Ao thought he would have to fight a fierce battle with the blood demon. He didn't expect that remembrance would suddenly appear and kill the blood demon with a casual strike. Smiling bitterly in his heart, Tang Ao shot out a fireball from his hand and burned Ing Jio to ashes. Although Ing Jio had chased after Tang Ao and the other two, he was dead now. For the sake of their friendship in the chamber of immortal ruins, Tang Ao didn't want to see his corpse lying in the wilderness. After burning Ing Jio to ashes, Tang Ao picked Silver Moon up. Although her pretty face was pale, Tang Ao had to admit that Silver Moon was a natural beauty. Silver Moon's clothes were very thin. When Tang Ao picked her up, he could feel her smooth skin and soft body. Tang Ao couldn't bear to let go of her. Tang Ao exclaimed in his heart that she was a monster. At the same time, he tried to keep his mind clear and suppress the evil fire in his heart. However, Silver Moon was restless even when she was asleep. She actually moved her head closer to Tang Ao's chest. Her pure and pretty face was charming and seductive. This strong contrast made Tang Ao want to throw her away, because holding her like this was too torturous. Tang Ao also used the communication pearl to look for Luo Shi and Huang Qir. However, at this moment, Luo Shi and Huang Qir didn't seem to be near Tang Ao, and the communication pearl couldn't contact them. Tang Ao set up a formation in a stone forest. Silver Moon's injuries were not light. Too much of her blood essence had been extracted by the blood demon, and her arm was broken. Tang Ao had already healed all of her external injuries and given her pills to replenish her blood. As for when she would wake up, Tang Ao wasn't sure. Because Silver Moon was unconscious, Tang Ao did not leave. Instead, he sat at the side and cultivated. Silver Moon and Tang Ao did not have any deep hatred, so Tang Ao naturally would not leave her in the lurch. While Tang Ao was cultivating, a sword suddenly appeared on Tang Ao's neck. Silver Moon's melodious voice rang out. "Do you have any last words?" It turned out that Silver Moon had woken up at some point. At this moment, a long sword appeared in her hand, and she quietly pressed it against Tang Ao's throat. Yes, Tang Ao acted as if he didn't see the long sword at his throat and nodded seriously. "If you do, then hurry up and say it. Once you are done, I will send you on your way." Silver Moon gritted her teeth and said hatefully. If Tang Ao hadn't been in her mystic lunar mirror, preventing her from using it, she wouldn't have been injured. Although Tang Ao had saved her twice, Silver Moon didn't want to let Tang Ao off easily. "Sigh, while you were unconscious, every time I saw you, I was like a villain seeing a delicious piece of braised meat, but I endured it. If I knew it would be like this, I wouldn't have done it," Tang Ao said seriously. "Haha, that's good. What a pity." Silver Moon tightened the clothes on her left shoulder, covering her snow-white shoulder. "You look so calm. Do you think that I won't kill you because you saved me?" As Silver Moon spoke, her long sword had already pierced through Tang Ao's skin. If it went in another inch, it would have cut Tang Ao's blood vessels. Chapter 26-23. Then let's try. As Silver Moon spoke, her aura changed. But before Silver Moon could swing her sword, Tang Ao, who had just been sitting cross-legged, disappeared like a ghost. Silver Moon looked forward in shock. She couldn't even sense a spatial fluctuation, but Tang Ao disappeared. What kind of technique was this? Any last words? Almost at the same angle, Tang Ao's green lotus sword appeared on Silver Moon's throat. At such a close distance, Silver Moon could even feel the sharp cold light of the green lotus sword. Even her smooth skin seemed to have sensed the danger. This sentence was what she had said to Tang Ao a moment ago, but now Tang Ao had returned it back to her. "No!" Silver Moon clenched her teeth. It was impossible for her to beg Tang Ao for mercy. Anyway, her life was saved by Tang Ao. If Tang Ao wanted to kill her, she had nothing to say. Silver Moon closed her eyes and waited for Tang Ao's green lotus sword to cut her throat. Silver Moon suddenly blushed because Tang Ao had kissed her smooth face. This time, I don't want to regret it. I don't want to accidentally get killed by you in the future and not get any advantages. As Tang Ao spoke, he used Thunder Shadow, illusionary body twice, and disappeared from Silver Moon's soul remembrance. I'm going to kill you, Silver Moon said angrily when she saw Tang Ao disappear. At this moment, Silver Moon felt very wronged. Since she started cultivating, Silver Moon had never been bullied. But this time, Tang Ao dared to treat her like this. With a wave of her hand, the Mystic Moon Mirror floated in front of her. Tang Ao had left the Mystic Moon Mirror, so could naturally be used again. With a seal, Tang Ao's figure appeared in the Mystic Moon Mirror. After identifying the location, Silver Moon immediately chased after him. Following this, Tang Ao and Silver Moon's journey immediately became interesting. No matter where Tang Ao fled to, Silver Moon would be able to find him. On the other hand, no matter how many times Silver Moon sought out Tang Ao always managed to escape. On a huge rock outside the desolate martial realm, there were many warriors from the Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins. Most of these warriors were warriors who had withdrawn from the desolate martial world's Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce branch. Shen Yunwei and Su Shiro were also here. At this moment, Shen Yunwei and Su Shiro stood on the edge of the void boulder, looking into the depths of the desolate martial domain. Shen Yunwei smiled and asked, "Little girl, are you missing junior brother Tang Ao? You've been out of your mind these past few days." "Sister Xiaowei, you're teasing me again." Su Shiro rolled her eyes at Shen Yunwei angrily. The trial time was approaching. During this time, warriors who participated in the trial kept returning. However, until now, there was no news from Tang Ao. Suddenly, a dazzling purple lightning streaked across the void. Wu Yin, Elder Hong, and the other two experts of the Celestial Palace widened their eyes. This purple lightning had the aura of the peak of the Celestial Palace, and had flown out of the desolate martial realm. Who was it that could display the strength of the Celestial Palace in the desolate martial realm? The purple lightning had clearly gone far away, but in the blink of an eye, it turned back again and appeared on a huge rock of the Chamber of Commerce of Immortal Ruins. Wu Yin and the other two did not dare to delay and immediately went over. Chapter 26-24. Shen Yunwei and Su Shiro were startled by the sudden appearance of a sloppy middle-aged man. They looked at Nian Jiuxiao cautiously. "May I know who you are?" "The Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce has failed to welcome you." Elder Hong's voice came from afar. Nian Jiuxiao ignored Elder Hong and asked, "Do you have the Heavenly Law Talisman?" His words shocked Su Shiro. Aside from Tang Ao and Jin Shun, no one knew that she had the Heavenly Law Talisman. However, neither Tang Ao nor Jin Shun would tell anyone about it. How did the sloppy middle-aged man know? Could he really tell that the Heavenly Law Talisman was on her? Tang Ao had told her that the Heavenly Law Talisman was a Khanate supreme treasure. No one should know about it. Su Shiro didn't say anything, but Nian Jiuxiao frowned and said, "You have my disciple's aura on you. What is your relationship with him?" As Nian Jiuxiao spoke, he outlined Tang Ao's image. Su Shiro was stunned. She had never heard Tang Ao mention that Tang Ao had a master like that. However, Su Shiro breathed a sigh of relief. She nodded and took out the Heavenly Law Talisman. Nian Jiuxiao burst into laughter when he saw the Heavenly Dao Talisman. "You're quite an interesting little girl. This Heavenly Dao Talisman is a Khanate pinnacle treasure. Even a God King would be tempted by it, but you took it out so brazenly. Fine. What is your relationship with my disciple?" Nian Jiuxiao could sense Tang Ao's aura on both Su Shiro and Shen Yunwei. If they were both Tang Ao's cultivation partners, then Tang Ao was too lucky. I'm brother Tang Ao's." Su Shiro's ears turned red, but she couldn't finish her sentence. However, Nien Jiuxiao understood the relationship between Su Shiro and Tang Ao. The Heavenly Law Talisman is a treasure of the Saint Everlasting Realm, and its seal can only be broken in the Saint Everlasting Realm. It just so happens that I'm going to the Everlasting Saint Realm, so I'll take you there. As Thought of the Nine Heavens spoke, his celestial core power swept out and was about to take Su Shiro away. Fellow Taoist, please wait. However, Wu Yin and the other two had already surrounded remembrance of the Nine Heavens. The Heavenly Law Talisman was extremely precious, and Su Shiro was not a member of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins and had no background. Since the Heavenly Law Talisman was in her hands, everyone who saw it should have a share. The number of innate God artifacts was limited, and every single one of them was a supreme opportunity. With the three chaotic heaven stage powerhouses of the Chamber of Immortal Ruins here, it would be a joke if remembrance of the Nine Heavens took the Heaven Dao Talisman away so easily. What's the matter? Nine Heavens Remembrance asked impatiently. The reason why remembrance stopped just now was because it sensed the aura of the Heavenly Dao Talisman. Nien Jiuxiao did not care about the Immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce at all. After all, even one of his disciples was the leader of the Purple Thunder Taoist sect, the greatest sect in the realm of heaven martial arts. Although the Purple Thunder Taoist sect had become history, it was enough to show how high Nien Jiuxiao's status was. Fellow Taoist, I haven't asked for your name yet, Old Hong said calmly. At the same time, he, Wu Yin, and Old Yun surrounded remembrance of the Nine Heavens. You don't deserve to know, Nien Jiuxiao said. Then he gathered his celestial core power and prepared to leave with Su Shiro. However, at that moment, Old Hong suddenly attacked. A small golden hammer flew out and bombarded remembrance of the Nine Heavens. The small golden hammer was a grade 9 celestial artifact, and its power was astonishing. However, remembrance did not try to dodge it. He took Old Hong's hammer head on. When the golden fragmentary hammer hit remembrance's heavenly thunder sacred body, it could not hurt him at all. Elder Hong's heart was in turmoil. What kind of strength was this? Could it be that the other party was a Tao master? A bolt of lightning flickered, and the grade 9 celestial artifact, the golden fragmentary hammer, was turned into powder. Your master, Hong Tianju, and I have some history. Otherwise, I would have taught you a lesson with that hammer of yours. While remembrance of the Nine Heavens' voice was still ringing in everyone's ears, Su Shiro and Nien Jiuxiao had already disappeared. Old Hong spat out a mouthful of blood. He was shocked. Old Hong was both shocked by remembrance of the Nine Heavens' identity and strength. The grade 9 celestial artifact was like tofu in remembrance of the Nine Heavens' hands. With a casual attack, it was shattered into pieces. Xinyan Wei, who was next to him, was also shocked. She knew that Tang Ao was extraordinary, but she did not expect Tang Ao to have such a powerful master. Chapter 26-25. Why are you sighing? Carrying me makes you so sad. Silvermoon smiled and pinched Tang Ao's arm hard. Feeling the softness and warmth on his back, Tang Ao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He and Silvermoon had been chasing each other for a long time, and somehow they ended up together. Tang Ao wasn't a person who suppressed his feelings. He dared to love and hate. If he liked someone, he would say it out loud. But now, Tang Ao realized that there were more things to do when there were more women. Tang Ao didn't start a relationship with Su Shiro, but Tang Ao understood that there was only a thin layer of paper between them. They just didn't say it out loud. She was completely different from the gentle and reserved Su Shiro. If Silvermoon liked someone, she wouldn't hide it in her heart. Therefore, Tang Ao and Silvermoon didn't know each other for long, but they ended up together. With a bitter smile, Tang Ao felt relieved. When the time came, he would just tell Su Shiro the truth. Tang Ao had a good impression of Su Shiro, and Tang Ao didn't want to hurt Su Shiro. How did you end up with Ing Jio and the others? Tang Ao asked casually as he walked on the soft sand with Silvermoon on his back. We completed the Chamber of Immortal Ruins mission together, and then we got to know each other. You haven't been in the Chamber of Immortal Ruins for long. How'd you get to know someone like Luo Shi? Silver Moon lay lazily on Tang Ao's back. Silver Moon felt very sweet to be carried by Tang Ao. Whether it was Luo Cai, Chu Xiuhan, or Su Shiro, Tang Ao didn't act particularly intimate with them. On the contrary, Silver Moon, who was more bold and cheerful, was the closest to Tang Ao among Tang Ao's female friends. Of course, unknowingly, Tang Ao also liked Silver Moon. Unlike Luo Cai's elegance, Chu Xiuhan's gentleness, and Su Shiro's thoughtfulness, Silver Moon gave Tang Ao a special feeling. Like a ball of fire, there's both intense passion and warmth. At this moment, Silver Moon and Tang Ao were not far from the gathering point of the Chamber of Commerce in the Immortal Ruins. If they flew at full speed, they would be able to return to the gathering point in a day at most. However, according to the way they were moving, it would not be easy for them to return to the gathering point. What a bummer. These guys are really haunting me. Silver Moon jumped down from Tang Ao's back, then hid behind Tang Ao and said, "Protect me." Tang Ao turned around and saw Silver Moon's smiling face. Looking at that peerlessly exquisite face, Tang Ao really wanted to go up and kiss her. Seeing that Tang Ao was staring at her blankly, Silver Moon couldn't help but say angrily, "Aren't you tired of looking at him? The blood demon is here, and you still—" Before Silver Moon could finish her words, her pink lips were kissed. Silver Moon's mind went blank. She didn't expect that this bad guy, Tang Ao, would bully her at this time. Before Silver Moon could come back to her senses, Tang Ao's voice rang in her ears again. "Take some rewards first." After saying that, Tang Ao's body moved, and the Azure Lotus Sword Soul was instantly summoned. After practicing the Thunder Shadow Phantom, Tang Ao's body became more agile. When using the Azure Lotus Sword technique, Tang Ao's whole body was elegant and unparalleled. Chapter 26-26. At this moment, Tang Ao was starting to miss the Nine Yin Thunder and Nine Yang Thunder. Among the area of effect spells that Tang Ao had seen, the Nine Yin Thunder and Nine Yin Thunder were second only to the Nine Twist Demon Thunder. If Tang Ao had mastered the Nine Yin Thunder or Nine Yang Thunder, then Tang Ao would have finished the battle long ago. As the blood slaves fell one after another, Tang Ao and Silver Moon's points also increased. After Tang Ao became aware of this situation, he immediately placed his identity token into the Primal Chaos 6 Light Mirror. Tang Ao's contribution points were already enough. On the contrary, Silver Moon's contribution points were only ranked 69th. However, as the two continued to kill the blood slaves and accumulated all the points into Silver Moon's identity tag, her contribution points suddenly increased. There were still about 5 days before the end of the trial, so Tang Ao decided to take Silver Moon to increase her ranking. At this moment, Tang Ao was ranked 3rd on the ranking. In front of Tang Ao were Wu Mu and Li Chunfeng. However, their points were not visible to Tang Ao. As long as one entered the top 10, his points would be hidden. Even the formation screen outside the desolate martial realm would not show it. Huang Qir was ranked 9th, while Luo 11 was ranked 10th. At this time, the rankings after the top 10 were changing very frequently. The most shocking one was when the name of a warrior from the Chamber of Immortal Ruins, who was ranked 19th, suddenly turned gray. If the name was gray, it meant that the martial artist had already fallen. The warriors from the Chamber of Immortal Ruins that came to attack the Blood Race were all top warriors from the astral reaching realm to the yin-yang realm, led by the 10 Azura Elders. Under such circumstances, there were still warriors in the top 20 who had fallen. It was obvious that the power of the Blood Race was not to be underestimated. After a while, besides a Blood Beast that used the Blood Escape spell to escape, the rest of the Blood Beasts and Blood Slaves that came to attack Tang Ao and Silver Moon had already been killed by Tang Ao and Silver Moon. Silver Moon put away her swords and said happily, My harvest this time is not bad. My ranking went from 69th to 67th. I actually went up by 2 ranks. Unlike Tang Ao and the other two, Silver Moon didn't have the opportunity to kill the blood slaves in the City of Beasts. Therefore, it wasn't easy for Silver Moon to earn her contribution points. Tang Ao really wanted to transfer some points from his identity token to Silver Moon so that she could enter the top 20. However, Tang Ao knew that if he really did that, then Silver Moon would definitely be angry. Right now, the blood slaves and blood demons in the Gale Sand Desert are crazily counterattacking our Chamber of Commerce's warriors. Since there are still 5 days until the trial ends, let's kill our way there, Tang Ao said after pondering for a moment. Silver Moon nodded. Being able to raise her ranking in the end was also something to be happy about. The battle in the wasteland of the Gale Desert was intense. While the vampires were suffering a devastating blow, the vampires' counterattack was also extremely frantic. Compared to the beginning, the current Blood Source Great Formation had shrunk by 90%. But even so, more than half of the Gale Desert was still covered by the Blood Source Great Formation. Many warriors who didn't escape in time were attacked by the Blood Slaves and Blood Demons. Chapter 26-27. Junior Brotherly, you're a warrior on the heroes list. Can't you act like a man? Ho Miao reprimanded the crying youth. Although Ho Miao's tone was stern, he knew that Junior Brotherly was right. The 5 of them had been fighting for 3 days and were exhausted, but the blood demons and blood slaves kept coming. No matter how strong Ho Miao was, he was going to die here. Realizing that he couldn't get out, Ho Miao's expression hardened. We're going to die either way. These beasts don't want us to leave alive, so they won't have it easy either. Don't fight with the blood slaves. Kill all the blood demons nearby. Kill! Ho Miao roared and charged out. The others didn't hesitate either. It was just as Ho Miao had said. They were going to die anyway, so they might as well kill all the blood demons. Blood demons were different from blood slaves. The death of each blood demon was a huge loss to the blood clan. Blood slaves, on the other hand, could be summoned even if they were ordinary vampires after using the vampire's secret arts. After fighting for 3 days and 3 nights, Ho Miao and the others were like arrows at the end of their flight. Their immortal spiritual force was depleted, and their bodies were injured to varying degrees. Soon, one of them couldn't hold on any longer. A blood demon smashed his head to pieces. Then, the surrounding blood slaves swarmed over, and the warrior was instantly devoured. Another scream rang out. A warrior's heart was dug out by a blood clan member. Seeing this, the warrior beside him went into a frenzy and slashed with his long saber. Unfortunately, the more he acted like this, the more opportunities the blood demons had. Li Xuanyu was the most afraid of death, so he was calmer in times like this. Because of this, Li Xuanyu struggled and kept blasting out spell after spell. But under these circumstances, calmness wasn't enough to save his life. Li Xuanyu screamed as he felt a pain in his abdomen. Ho Miao was right beside Li Xuanyu. Seeing Li Xuanyu get pierced by a blood spear, Ho Miao swung his axe down and split the blood demon attacking Li Xuanyu in half. Li Xuanyu looked at Ho Miao in pain. Senior brother Ho, I don't want to die. Ho Miao was about to speak, but his expression suddenly changed. While Ho Miao was saving Li Xuanyu, a blood demon suddenly rushed out and stabbed Ho Miao in the back. At this moment, a streak of sword light blasted over from afar. 2 figures arrived in an instant. After chopping off Blood Demon's arm, Tang Ao sent out a palm strike, sending Blood Demon flying. How is he? Silver Moon brought out the mystic lunar mirror, and the 4 of them were immediately enveloped in a barrier. Pucci! Ho Miao spat out a mouthful of blood, then looked at Li Xuanyu. Live? After saying this, Ho Miao immediately stopped breathing. Tang Ao sighed helplessly. During this time, he and Silver Moon had saved many people in the Gale Desert, but at the same time, they had also seen many dead warriors. At the end of the day, this was a battlefield between the immortal Ruins Chamber of Commerce and the Blood Clan. The Blood Clan had razed the Shop of Immortality's branch in the desolate martial realm to the ground, while the Shop of Immortality wanted to exterminate the Blood Clan. After giving Healing Pill to Li Xuanyu, Tang Ao and Silver Moon rushed out of the boundary. These blood slaves were basically at astral reaching realm level 3 to level 7. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.